Country Club. Joined today by Kevin Collins, of course, and David Wagner will be joining us here shortly. As we open up here, we're just going to take a look at hole number 18, where we're going to be bringing you all of our coverage today. And Kevin, we've seen a lot of golf on this hole, and looking at it, it looks like a pretty fairly simple hole, but as we know, that's also fairly deceptive.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we're running down the scroll from the drone footage, you see down the right side, there's a fairly significant drainage ditch that runs the right side of the hole. A lot of the golfers will end up on that right side because the way that the tee box positions you as you tee off, you have to be pretty solid to make sure that you don't let your hands get through too fast. So we'll find a lot of the golfers over on that right side a lot. Definitely don't want to be on the left side. Mostly because that's tree trouble that you probably cannot, as you can see this left side, if you end up on the left, you've got the trees and the bunker to take into consideration. Luckily for today, our pin placement is down a little bit lower than it was yesterday, so that won't be as bad. But on the other hand, anything to the left is extreme trouble. The right side is the place most players will play. But as we talked about a lot yesterday, this hole is very deceptive. It's not that long. It's about 375 yards. But it's very difficult to score on, mostly because of where the undulation of the green and the fact that it's difficult for a lot of these players to stay in the fairway. So I don't think we even saw birdie yesterday while I was here.
No, I don't think we ended up seeing one all day, actually.
Yeah.
You saw a number of pars, and unfortunately we saw quite a few bogeys here and there. And,
Sure.
you know, like you said, looking at the pin placement today being a lot lower up front, and we actually just saw a great shot right in front of us.
Fantastic shot. We might see our first birdie here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I was about to say. I think we can probably expect more birdies today with that pin placement because as you were pointing in this fairway with the trees on the left and the right, that pin placement is actually exactly where you want to be.
Sure. That was the best shot I've seen, in the 4 or 5 hours I've been out. Just a couple of quick thought processes on it. When this pin placement is down low like it is, it is wonderful if you're below the hole. And one of the things I talked to our golf course superintendent, Brad Fluid, just yesterday about this because we were talking about pin placements and stuff like that. And he said, the key to playing Bentwood successfully is to be below the hole. And so today we'll see that he will have this pin places down nice and right down in front, but you still want to be on the down below it. And so we're trying to figure who we've got coming in right now.
Guys, we got Colby Biggerstaff, Ian Rook, Reggie Noble, and Ken Lyons.
Yeah, Reggie Noble and Ken Lyons. Those guys have played this golf course in this tournament 300 million times. It's absolutely amazing. They've been partners together for I don't know how many years. I would venture to guess 20 at the very least. So, great group of guys coming in. The one thing treacherous on this hole would be if you were to go mid-range or over the back of the hole. And when you do that, you've got a lot of golf to get done. If you have to come back over the hump that's in the center of the green all the way back down, it's almost impossible to make that shot.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one thing that we were talking a lot about yesterday is the speed of these greens, and then especially as we get on later into the day and they dry out a bit.
Yep.
You're exactly right. If you get over that ridge and you get on the back side of this green, you have a lot of green to work with, and it's very fast.
Sure, and it's it's 108 degrees today, which I guess we're all over the news because of that, but it's not the best situation for the golfers. But the green will dry out. We've got a fairly significant south wind that will definitely play havoc in this on this hole today for players. So there's just a few things that if you know the course, kind of like Reggie and Ken do, you might have a little bit of an advantage today. So
yeah, absolutely. And real quick, before we have these guys get up to the green, let's just kind of recap what the men's partnership is out here at Bentwood. It's a 9-flighted tournament for our partners, teams of 2, and we are looking at a low ball system. So each guy is going to play the hole out himself, and then each team is going to take the lowest score out of each of the competitors. And I believe we were looking at about just over 200 players in this tournament.
Right, we've got 206 players this year, $27,000 in prize money. So there's a significant amount of opportunity for somebody who does well in our event. You're correct, we're playing a low ball format. The low ball, you just take the best score between the two. And what is very important in partnership golf is if your partner's in trouble, is you have to make sure that you play that consistent game and not get outside the range so that you score one of those higher scores.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we can get into the scores that we've seen yesterday a little bit more.
You know what I was talking about, saying that's Ken Lyons. That was a great camera shot there. And Ken knew exactly what to do with that. He did not want to get that ball up to where it carried over the flag. He kept it down. He used the front edge of the green to slow the ball down. He is in a perfect position to make his par.
Yeah, that really was a great touch right there, and that's exactly like you were talking about earlier. With that pin down there. So, like I said, I think we're gonna see some better scores out here today with that placement than we did yesterday. And like I said, we'll get to those scores. And off the top of my head, I believe it looks like in the championship flight we're leading at 6 under.
Yeah, the 66, I believe, is the best score, which is a phenomenal score, especially considering yesterday where the pin placements were. We did get some conversation with the players that it was a little bit tough out there for them. So anybody that was shooting under par yesterday was definitely having a good day.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even into our President's Flight, I think we saw a lot of scores that were under there as well. And I believe it was 6 under there as well that was leading.
Yes. This is Colby Biggerstaff. This is an opportunity for a birdie, and in this flight, the flight that these guys are in, birdieing this hole could be worth quite a bit of money. He's got a perfect setup. It should just go straight up the hill to the hole. Should be just straight back and straight through, and make a good quality stroke on the ball, and he'll be in the money. Oh, left it out just a little bit. It was unfortunate. His partner and him knew when he hit it, almost like he hit it and he knew it wasn't going to go in.
Yeah, I think he knew as soon as that putter touched the ball on that one when it left. I think he felt where that one was going.
Notice he's setting the ball down and saying, let me take a little shot at that thing. He just, it's unfortunate because that would have been in the money, a money shot right there. But I guess it must be a little bit tough to read for him, but still pars all around with this group. And you noticed as they were going off, shaking hands, giving everybody a pat on the back. Reggie and Ken, great guys to play with and have fun with, and looks like we've got David moving over there to possibly have a chit-chat with them, so hopefully he can grab one of those guys and get a couple of words of wisdom from the old guys. Dave, those are the old croners of Bentwood Partnership. They probably give you some good wisdom. Declining the interview. They obviously know David well. They don't want to be seen speaking with him.
Guys, I'm over here with Colby Biggerstaff and Ian Rook. So let's talk about it, guys. Y'all just finished up?
We did. We had a little bit of a rough front. Not gonna lie to you, but we came around on the back. So we did okay. I think we'll be in good standings for tomorrow, hopefully. So I don't know. These guys right here. These guys right here kind of took it to us a little bit. So, but we had a good time, man. That's what it's about out here. We're having fun and with a good group of guys and just having a blast. So
y'all have an opportunity to make a run at it tomorrow, then maybe?
We'll see. Maybe so.
Find out. You're gonna run to the 19th though and get a drink, right?
Maybe a few.
All right, guys. Y'all enjoy it. Thank you so much.
That's the main thing. It's so interesting to listen to all the guys when they come off because they're all having just a great time. And they say a bad day of golf is better than just about anything. So
I tell you what, and I think we can all agree with that. Even when it is 108 out here, it's still just a great time. And real quick, while we can take just a quick moment to talk about it. Yesterday, you were speaking about how you guys really turn a tournament in here into a total event.
Right.
You've got things going on after the tournament for the fans and everything else. And what do we have going on tonight after the tournament?
Basically, tonight we've got a band. We've got a band that's going to come play Boogie Town, which was the Simply Texas Blues Festival winner. It's going to come out and play for a couple hours for everybody. We've got a big fajita dinner for everybody. Also, one of the things that we offer here at Bentwood at most all of our large events, quite honestly, is a free kids club. We've spent a great deal of time and effort putting in a kid-friendly zone over here at our tennis and fitness complex, and we have some of our tennis player juniors and some of our staff will put together some activities for these kids. So anybody that enters our large events, that's a free service. So that they can, one of the things is in these days, you've got your kids, you got a lot of stuff going on, and you might choose not to play in a tournament if you can't have your kids around. Well, we give you an opportunity here to bring your kids and have them enjoy it. So we'll have kids club going on. We've got a band playing for at least 2 hours this evening, and then a nice big fajita dinner. Last night we had our player pool, which was phenomenal. We had $56,000 in our player pool, which was almost a record. A lot of great activity there. The guys had just a fantastic time. We had Lori Jo Thomas out on the veranda playing music, and then we had 50 ladies that participated in our paint and sip, which they all got to paint a portrait and have a little wine and have some time. It's like I was telling you yesterday, these wives like to come to the tournaments and have fun with their husbands, but they really don't want to listen to them talk about all their golf lies. So we try to put together some things for the ladies to do. So it's just been, blowing and going. Everybody seemed to have a really good time. There's a few guys that I'm thinking probably had a little too good a time last night, but that's okay.
A lot of those tee times do come early when you're in 7:15 out there.
Absolutely. So just a kudos to our. But I mean, we probably had 500 people in the club last night, and we were able to serve them and have a really good time and have a lot of activities for them, and that'll continue tonight and tomorrow. So yeah, we kind of put this together as a community event for Bentwood.
Just a second ago, it looked like we saw Colby Latham with a very nice shot coming up, left himself about 6 feet.
Yes. Now this is going to be a tough one. The ball's going to roll off the back, so there's quite a bit of golf left. Now, unfortunately, we had quite a bit of tree trouble there, unfortunately. I think that's Jay Moeller coming off of the tree. Jay's playing with Alan Hines this year. Alan's been a long-time member here at Bentwood, and we really appreciate his patronage. These guys come and take care of business here at the partnership every year, and they take care of business in a lot of ways, through the alcoholic beverage intake, to the dancing, to the overall enjoyment. So they not only come here for the golf, they come here for the party. So that's kind of great.
And guys, that's Alan Hines that's just off into the first cut. You saw his approach shot coming from the fairway earlier. He's going to have a tough putt coming across there just because of that pin placement today, where it's sitting on that downslope. He's almost going to have to put it up the hill and let it hopefully drop back down in there.
And that's a great point, Dave. I mean, this is all about speed putts. And what makes this shot tough, and some of your better players might even choose to hit a pitching wedge there, because the one thing that'll throw you off, he has to hit the proper line for the ball to fall down the hill into the hole. If he gets a bad bounce coming out of that first cut, that can create a difficult situation for him.
Yeah, that's something great to notice there, is that today, like we said, if you are past the pin up top, it is very tricky, because you have a downhill putt all the way, and if you miss, you will be off the green in that first cut again.
Yeah, and you were saying the pin placement is easier. It is definitely easier if you get the proper second shot.
Right.
If your second shot is in the first cut, or heaven forbid over the green, as we've seen here, this ball going all the way, it'll go all the way off the green.
And Kevin, I'm back here behind Jay where he was hitting, and can't even see the hole. I mean, obviously the flag's still in, but that was a very tough read for him.
Yeah, anytime somebody's back here with us in the booth, if their ball's back here close to the south side of the green, they've got a lot of golf left. And we were talking a little bit too, is being to the side of the hole here is not a good idea either, because it's going to break, and it is totally dependent upon how hard you hit it as to how much it's going to break. And so it becomes a real touch issue. A lot of times when you see somebody like what Colby may try to keep this thing just as short and easy as he can, so that he might have it fall towards the hole and have a straight shot coming back up.
And I think right there is a prime example of exactly what we were just talking about, coming across the slope there. It does have a lot of break in it. And
this is why we don't see a lot of birdies. I mean, how many guys, we've seen 2 groups come through so far, and we've had at least 1 or 2 in both of those groups in a pretty good spot, but it's still dang hard to score. So that looks like a 6 there for Jay. But considering he was up against the tree, you and me probably take that 6.
Any day of the week. You know, being up against a tree, you got tree limbs above you, a giant hill in front of you, and you're trying to stop the ball right on the front edge of that green.
Tough,
I mean,
man.
yeah, I'd take the 6.
I would venture to guess Allen for some. Maybe he'll get a good swing on it. He gets it onto the floor, and if you notice, it almost looked like it was going to stop, and then it didn't. Now, he is in a really good spot to come back to get his par. If he'd have made it another 6 or 7 inches before it started to fall, he'd be in real good shape. Still got a little chicken left on the bone.
Yeah, he's definitely got a little work left there, but I think he should be able to clean that one up and get away with the par.
Get his par, that'd be good. As you were talking about a little bit yesterday, this is a tough spot just because he's right on the edge of the green and the collar, and he just has to kind of keep his head down and let the club do the work. Not in the leather at this point. Just for the people that haven't been watching, and a lot of these flights, as long as you get your ball within a certain distance, there's a mark on every flag stick that tells you what a gimme stage is. And a lot of these guys, it helps with pace of play, but on a day like today, if you can get it into that gimme, I'll bet you $1 they're going to pick that ball up as quick as they can.
I think you might see a couple of the guys running over to it at that point.
Got a 5 there for Mr. Biggerstaff. We can't see the hole specifically from where we are, but he obviously lit that one out very close.
That's Colby Latham and Aaron Terry.
Aaron Terry?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's correct.
And this, if I'm looking at the pairing sheet right, guys, this should be our last group from the morning.
Looks like it, yes.
And then we will move on to, I would assume, is on the tee box back there, our guys that teed off on 11, Jackson Duncan, Jason Calhoun, and Ryan Hayes.
Yes, David, you are right. That's who we have coming up next. And I think I might have jinxed Alan there, saying he can clean up with a par, and he's going to walk away with a bogey here. But, that is partner golf.
Yep.
They didn't walk away with a double.
That's true. And,
So
it's a situation where, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, too. And I don't know if David can hear us, but they left a club on the fringe over there.
Yeah, I'll make sure the guys get it.
Yeah, or just, maybe finders, keepers, losers, weepers.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it on eBay, I think. Let me see what club it is, see how much money I can get for it first.
I was about to say, I saw you with your clubs here, David, so that one might just slide in.
I brought mine, so.
In case somebody needed an extra helper. But
now, guys, here's the deal. Anybody that leaves a club out here has to talk to us on the webcast. So, whose club is it? I'll see. Jay, now you got to talk to me. That's the rule. You got to be on the. Okay, well then I'm selling this on eBay. No, I'm just kidding, Jay.
Well, that was at least a good effort there. Maybe you can get them next time.
Well, when we were talking just a second ago, it's Allen had that opportunity to put his par in, and he got a little bit of yippee right there at the end, and it's hard. These guys have been out here all day, and it's just a rough little finish for them.
Yeah, and the longer you're out here, the more golf you play, the more that heat gets to you. And as we talked about yesterday, these putts get harder and harder if you've struggled with them all day, because then you get timid, and it's just finding that touch again.
It's true. It's like a bad relationship. It's a situation where, as it gets a little worse as it goes around. So, you get to the end of the day, it's a little bit hot, a little difficult. It can make those short putts seem a lot.
Moeller and Hines, guys, finished up, at least they're consistent. 85 yesterday and 85 again today.
That's consistency.
There you go.
I tried to explain to them that I'm consistently bad when I play golf.
I thought you were going to give them pointers down there, Dave.
Looks like we got a little gallery situation going on here. That's what's another thing that's great about this event is look at all the people that are coming down and following these teams. And you'll see that more and more throughout the weekend. People will come in, especially on Saturday when the other people aren't working and stuff like that. That you'll see lots of gallery cards, people cheering their teams on and trying to help them.
Well, Kevin, it's Jackson Duncan and Jason Calhoun, so between their families, that's the whole group back there, right?
Yeah, actually, from what I understand, I think those guys actually pay their people to go. They actually have paid paparazzi. Now, I will say, I can see Jason standing over the ball here. He's got the yellow hat, looks to me like, and the green shorts. Nothing close to Lonnie Briley. Nothing even close on the fashion meter today. So we'll probably need to visit with him a tidbit.
Look at this shot.
That was what you call lucky golf.
Jay,
kicks get better than that?
I don't think it's possible.
I think Jason Calhoun paid somebody off, the golf gods, somebody.
Can we back this up and look at that again? What a shot.
Jason may pay for us to back that up. Are y'all recording that? I'm sure he's going to ask us.
Yeah, I
It
tell you
looked
what,
like
he came
hit
in.
an invisible wall or something.
It was crazy. He came in just over the bunker over on that side, got a gorgeous kick, and it stopped. I mean, it slowed down as it was going to that side.
He clearly shanked it so well that it had enough spin to. This guy clearly is odds-on favorite right now.
Yeah, I don't know how the Calcutta ended up looking for him, but I tell you what, there may be some pretty happy guys out there.
For sure, for sure. Looks like Jackson Duncan standing over. Jackson, longtime Bentwood member, plays a lot of golf, played at San Angelo Central, owns City Lumber and Wholesale here in town. Nice smooth golf stroke. Puts himself in a nice spot there too. Gonna have a little bit of a break to contend with, but he's pin high and probably not too upset about that.
No, I think I would take that shot. You know, like you said, he's going to have a little break to contend with, but anything inside of 15 feet is
and
a great shot.
If you're playing tennis player rules, that's a guaranteed par, because if you're that close when you hit the green, you can't hit it more than twice after that.
Well, see, I think I need to play with those rules because anytime I'm that distance, that's almost a guaranteed 3-putt.
Yeah, now that's why we just eliminate even the opportunity of that, you know. So these guys have been playing in our tournament, grew up out here, grew up in San Angelo, you know, and that's what's great. Jason Calhoun is from Danco Electric, and Jackson, obviously City Lumber. Great guys overall.
And this shot here looks like it was headed towards that bunker. And I think he just got over it. Looks like it's going to hang in that fringe just above it. Now that shot there could definitely be a little tricky.
Oh, definitely.
Coming from that side and out of the thick cut. That's going to take a good touch to get out and release and keep that speed where he needs it.
Yeah, Dave, you're going to need to interview Jason about that shot for no other reason, just to figure out what the heck happened and whether he actually hit it on the club or had some kind of spin on it. That looked more like a pool shot than a golf shot.
Do they get extra points for trick shots out here, Kevin?
Yeah, from us, they do. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan now. Anybody that can pull that off, I'm all about it. Making our way up. All the gallery following in.
Looking out there today, we have a nice little breeze up here with us, but I don't think it's too much right now that the guys are having to contend with.
No, not too bad. And I think it's important to recognize that when they are in the middle of the fairway, there is kind of a tunnel effect for the wind. Once you get, you know, above the tree line, that wind starts to affect, and it doesn't really hurt basically on the on the direction, but it does on the distance. And some of these guys will choose to club down a little bit, maybe take a 7-iron instead of an 8, just to make sure they deal with the wind. On the other hand, if you're thinking about it, you want to be below the hole, so you know it might be a better chance to think in terms of trying to land right in front and ease your way up there.
Yeah, that's very true, and that's something I was going to talk about a little bit with you today. As these pins change, you know, we've got a lot of players out here that play this course a lot. They know it. They get used to the yardage and how they hit their clubs.
Right.
But then when these pins change, you know, that can change how they approach the hole.
Right, and you'll see, you know, a lot of times that these gallery people, you know, of course it's not the case for this group because there's some nice-looking ladies that seem to be following them around, but you know, they're going to check out where the pins are going to be for the next day so that they can kind of make a plan. Also, on their golf cards, on the cards that we give them for the tournament, it'll kind of give you basic pin placements and where they're going to. Players know where it's going to be, and I think that even makes it for more of an advantage for someone who plays the course a lot, because they can look at that green tee sheet and say, "Oh wow, I know what to do there."
Yeah, absolutely. So I think he left himself with a pretty difficult putt there, coming back right on the ridge. He's going to have to start that one downhill the whole way, and that's going to be a definite test of can he control the speed.
Well, and you know what's interesting about that is, unfortunately, on a putt like that, this ball has got to hit the center of the hole if it's going to go in, because it can catch just the edge and it's not going in the hole.
No, that's very true, and a lot of times you'd rather miss completely than catch that edge,
Yeah,
because
for
when
sure.
you do, it may slingshot your ball
Yeah.
a lot further than just the original miss.
Yeah, so total speed putt, total feel. But that's why they call it golf, I guess. Barely took that club head back, and look at that ball. It's actually picking up speed the further away it gets. And so being still on the green shows that he had a good amount of touch on there.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, I mean, that club head just barely came back. So that shows you exactly how fast these greens are today.
Oh, that's a quick. That was quick. Now Jackson has been a, you know, top quality golfer, and people say, gosh, you know, he missed it a whole bunch. But in reality, he's, you know, a lot of times being aggressive, getting the ball to the hole is important, and having the confidence to do that makes a big deal. But again, we get a three-putt situation right there. Takes his bogey, and which is, you know, not a bad score.
No, not at all, and I'm feeling kind of bad now. I think I probably shouldn't have said we had the chance to see more birdies today.
Well, I think you have the chance. It's just a matter of whether you can leave that ball in the right spot. That's just Ryan Hayes, and Ryan's, you know, he's got a makeable putt here. And this is his 4, so let's see. Put it in. Nice putt.
Got it.
Nice putt. Jason Calhoun, laying 2, could be our first birdie opportunity.
He's going to have a pretty good idea for his putt here.
That's a great point. You know, a lot of times you'll see these guys allow, because in etiquette in golf, you know, the furthest guy back hits, but a lot of times they'll let the guy in front hit to get a line and go to school on it a little bit to see if they can see what that break's going to do. Nice smooth stroke right there. Oh, just went by. And you know, both times we've seen 2 birdie opportunities, and you can see how these guys, because these guys know, they know that that hole is going to be tough.
Yeah.
And when you can put yourself in a situation like that, you know it's a missed opportunity. But a par here will keep you in the running.
Well,
Absolutely.
hey, like we said, you know, bogeys can win tournaments.
Absolutely.
You know, and on holes like this, they get pretty difficult. It looks like David might be down there. Let's go to him, see what he's got.
Yeah, guys, I got Jason Calhoun down here, so let's talk about that, because that was, you know, we've only seen probably 3 or 4 birdie opportunities on this hole since we've been doing our webcast yesterday afternoon and this afternoon now. You had a good run at it there.
I'm not going to lie, with him putting first and trying to go for it, I thought there's no worse than that make par, so hit it really hard, and I put it on the right edge, and it didn't break.
Yeah, Sometimes that's just golf, right? The 4-letter word.
It is definitely golf because it hadn't been good.
So talk about y'all's round today. How are y'all sitting?
We're not good, but that's okay because it's still better than it was yesterday, being the last place team. But we're only 3 over, so we can make some birdies, get back in it.
So now you're going to enjoy the night, right? The festivities this evening.
Absolutely. Well, we still got a bunch of holes left, so we're.
Oh yeah, that's right. Y'all are just making the turn. That's right. All right.
We're going to make it a 68.
Coming back. There's 600 on the next side, guys. There you go. You heard it from the man himself.
All right, David, we heard that, so we're going to have to hold him to it, of course. And I tell you what, if you did come out with a 68, that's a very reputable score, so we'll be rooting for the guys.
I will tell you, these guys will put themselves in positions to make scores, and this level of player will. And so he's not, he's kidding a little bit, but on the other hand, it could happen because they're going to put themselves in situations. Coming up, we've got James Walling, Jeremy Williams, Ken Barbuti, and Carson Good. And I noticed we've got our cameras actually on the guys, but I think it's an almost more interesting camera angle to show the actual fairway, because what we've got is a tale of two cities. We've got guys on the left and guys on the right, and not one guy in the middle of the fairway. And it's funny because us sitting here, it's always easy to be armchair quarterback or whatever, but it is, Kenneth Barbuti is a great golfer. Guys played a lot of golf, but this hole gets everybody. And it doesn't matter how long you've been playing here or how good you are, this hole gets everybody.
No, and I think a lot of it goes back to what you were talking about yesterday, Kevin. When you're on the tee box on 18, and I was actually down there earlier today myself, just getting a look at this hole from there. When you're standing on the tee box, you're lined up directly into the trees on the right.
Yeah.
So this hole does not look like it has a lot of a bend in it.
Right.
It's a small little dog leg to the left, but when you're lined up that far right, it makes that bend that much more. And you really have to control that, and I think that's, like you said, one of the main reasons why we see the guys on the left and the right a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And you couple that with the fact that this is about a 380-yard hole. So a lot of the guys, you get a 250-yard drive, you're sitting in the best spot in town. So they tend to try to go for it a little bit more. And a lot of times those fundamentals break down when you go for it a little bit, and it makes you go right or left. This ball coming right at our camera guy, looks to me like. Just over here on the right-hand side. Not a terrible place, but a little bit of golf left.
Yeah, and I think that shot that he's got left there depends a lot on his lie. If he's got a clean lie on that side, it's not going to be too bad for him. Of course, if he's buried in that thicker cut, then it can always get touchy. Trying to have that soft touch to get out and land that ball where he needs to.
Well, talking about course conditions, I know that one of the pride of the partnership events, and that's not just for Bentwood, but in general, partnership events, you like to showcase your course, but you also like to show your greens off. And part of showing your greens off is making them tough. And, these greens are set up on a 12 to 12.5 on a stimp meter. And like we said yesterday, the stimp meter is basically if you hold the ball 12 inches above the ground, 1 foot, when you let go of it, it will roll. How far it rolls is what that stimp meter means. So it's about 12 inches for every foot that it drops. So it's vast.
Yeah.
And by normal comparisons on a regular day, our greens are going to run 10.5. So we just punch them up a tidbit to kind of get them ready. This is Kenneth Barbuti. He's got a little tree trouble, but he's going to go up and over. And he got that ball up and out nicely. It just depends on how it lands.
Yeah, and it looks like he came up a little short there, but he's dead center fairway. He's got probably 15, 20 yards left. I think he's going to have a nice little chip at it to get his ball up there close to the pin.
Well, it sure will be interesting because we haven't seen that spot yet, and that just might be the place to be. It's just right down in front, so you can ease it up by the hole and possibly get a gimme and get out of here without having to putt.
Boy, I'd take any hole where I don't have to get the old Texas wedge out.
That's correct.
Well, it looks like they're back over on that side. And just to kind of recap what you were talking about yesterday, the rules do say if the ball lands by the fence, they do have to play it as it lies. They don't get any sort of relief from there.
And there, the rules committee for the partnership rules committee determines areas. There are certain areas on the course that are developed as ground under repair or areas like that. There are some utility utility posts and things on the course because this is a housing development, and those things you do get some proper relief from. But if it's just basically the OB fence, and that's what it is at Bentwood, if the fences are OB, and like we talked about yesterday, you can't go in somebody's backyard to hit your ball. It's against the rules.
You didn't hear us say anything, Mervin.
But they do. They can play it. They just can't get any relief. And so being up close to those fences makes it tough.
Well, I think we've got a great opportunity here to see how this green is really going to play for these players today. We've got 3 balls just off the green.
Right.
One to the left, one towards the right, and then one dead center from the pin. So I think this is going to give us a really good idea of what they're looking at.
Well, they've definitely got it surrounded, so we'll see how it goes. It's always fun to be out here and see the stuff that's going on around us. People don't realize just all kinds of neat stuff. You got First Financial Bank's got a little food tent set up there with a little bar that people can sit up to and enjoy and grab a little food and do a little camaraderie on our number 10 hole. And then you'll see the Polarises go back and forth adding kegs and ice and all that kind of stuff to make sure that if you're playing good, you can have a cold drink to celebrate, or if you're playing bad, you can have a cold drink to celebrate. So it's one of those things that there's a whole little army of people running around behind us here, making sure that everything runs smoothly here during the partnership.
And as we saw right there, again, that ball just shows you how fast these greens are. I mean, nice touch. It was a nice shot that came out. But, just not much he could do there to get that ball to hang on.
Right, and yesterday, where the pin was, where he was, he wouldn't have hit that shot, obviously, but he wouldn't have been in a bad spot at all.
No, not at all.
So, all right, let's see. Kenneth looks like he's stepping up. He's probably got a little lob wedge, maybe a little 60-degree wedge to try to pop it up because he wants it to land nice and soft. He doesn't want this ball to roll just a bunch once it lands. It's a heck of a good shot. He's got onto the dance floor. He's got a straight shot. Probably would like to have carried it maybe a foot or two further because it would have been in really good shape, but he can't be too upset about that.
He left himself about 6 feet, guys.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think another foot he'd have been perfect.
still a great stroke from that position in the fairway.
He's going to go ahead and mark his ball, get out of the way of Carson's pitch shot here. These chip shots are so tough for amateurs because you want to hold on tight and make sure you hit a good shot, but the real goal is just to relax your hands and not force the ball too much. And that's kind of what Carson did just then, I think, as he was a little stiff with his hands, so the ball carried just a touch too far. Now he's got a putt that needs to go in the center of the hole or it's going to come off the green.
Yeah, if he doesn't hit something, then it's going to be down there where Ken was when he was chipping a while ago.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's such a great point. You're so close when you are that close off the green, but
that's in the
I thought that one was going in for a second.
Not a bad play there.
But you're exactly right, and that's that touch that a golfer, I believe, achieves over just time on the course.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard, especially, of course, these guys are making the turn, so they're not beat up yet. But at the same time, it's like, having the confidence to take that deep breath and just relax and let the club do the work. It gets harder and harder the more the hole beats you up. So it's all a matter of relaxing and having some touch.
As we're looking at this putt here coming back, like David said, if he doesn't hit the center of the cup, he may be right back where he was before.
Yeah. This is just one that you just want to get it started. If you can just get it started and it's on the right line, it's got to hit the center of the hole. And notice that almost no backswing there at all. And the ball manages to stop but does not go in the hole. He's right there. Gets his 5, not a bad score. He's got his partner in a situation where he can make a par. Little 6-foot putt up the hill. And what the golf pros will tell you on this is a follow-through kind of putt. You're going to want to make sure you finish. Get this ball going up the hill, because the only thing that can kill you is if you just kind of poke at it and it doesn't get some momentum. Because even though the green is extremely fast, it will absolutely the ball needs to be pushed up into the hole. And it's a common mistake for people not to go ahead and finish these putts because of the fact that the greens are super fast.
Yeah, and if I'm correct, this is for par.
Yeah, this is his par.
And, you know, knowing that he already has a 5 secured, he can just give it a go.
Now, that ball turned a great deal. Did you see that, David?
Yeah, it almost looked like he pushed it out there to the right. So it looked like he almost opened up his club face just a little bit and pushed it that way.
Yeah, because in general, I think, and David can tell us because he's down there, but in general, this is a fairly straight situation, I think. There may be a little break to it, but definitely not as much as what Ken put on it.
No, there's not much break there. I mean, it's a straight putt from where he was sitting, so.
So they get their 5. In the hole.
Jeremy Williams, nice putt from him.
Little 5s all around for those guys. Looks like we've got our next group on the tee box, and the pace of play has been pretty good today, and that's important. I think that if we can keep the guys moving, it's easier on them.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think one of the interesting things that we talked about yesterday, but we can, again, in case we get some viewers that didn't hear and might hear us talk about them teeing off on number 11. Kevin, explain to us why it was decided this year that you were going to have them tee off on number 1 and number 11, and how that affects the pace of the play.
Well, it was a committee. The committee we're constantly trying to figure out ways to make this more enjoyable for our golfers. I mean, there are certain elements of the golf game that are going to be tough. Our greens are going to be tough. You know, the weather, there's nothing we can do about the weather. It's tough. But what we can do is try to create scenarios that make it easier for our golfers. And let's face it, we got 206 players, probably 190 of them didn't even play college golf, you know, and so they're not used to the mental aspects of playing tournament golf. And our number 10 hole is one of our more difficult holes. We have the road on the left. We've got a significant water hazard right down on the right. And so, you know, you've got a very narrow window to hit a really good tee shot on number 10. So if you're waking up at 7 after you've been at the player pool party and you've been drinking since, you know, whenever yesterday, it's a knee knocker to start. So on the other hand, our number 11 hole is a nice long par 5. And it, you know, what's great about a par 5 is, especially with these kind of tournament golfers, I mean, if you don't hit a really good drive, you can hit a really good second or par. Whereas, you know, starting out on number 10, you hit your first shot bad, it can just get your whole day going on. So our committee, not just our golf professionals or our professional staff here, we didn't unilaterally make that decision. Our golf committee goes, hey man, why don't we try that? We have a nice utility easement that coming right off the golf pro shop that you can get to number 11 very easily. And from what I've heard from the players that I've talked to, they really like it. They think it's a nice addition. And finishing on number 10 on your front 9, you know, might not be such a bad thing. But starting on it's a little more difficult. So that's why we made that
absolutely.
choice.
And I mean, if you play golf like I do, Kevin, then finishing on number 10 ends up being even better, because I don't need to go over the pool then, because I will spend so much time in that pond.
There you go. Well, we talked about that yesterday. That pond, if you're kind of a newbie to Bentwood, that pond looks like it's a good ways away, but it's really no more than a 3-wood out. And if you hit your driver and you hit it straight, you're going in the pond.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I've been on that team many times staring it down, and I don't know why I don't ever learn, but every time I get up there and I'm like, you know, I'm not going to get that far down there.
Right.
And sure enough, I absolutely do, and I'm in the drink.
It's a typical amateur mistake, and we all want to hit really good shots. And I think another thing to point out for the viewers is, if you do, you've got about a 50-yard narrow fairway option that if you hit your best drive straight as an arrow, you're going to be right there by the green. Unfortunately, there's a lot of obstacles in between all of that, and let's face it, unless we're practicing all the time, that's a tough shot to hit. But it's funny, out of 206 players, probably 150 of them are going to try that shot.
Oh, absolutely.
And if they do, they might get a good score.
You guys keep using that P word. Is that
He was on this kick yesterday. I can't get him off of this whole practice.
the practice thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate necessity if you want to be successful. Unless you went to ACU like David. You don't have to practice if you're an Abilene Christian Wildcat.
Ouch.
How's the Colt? How's it going over there?
The Colt seems to be growing
It
quite
does.
ning They
I
keep
know.
sending me stuff to
Just
send them more money
Yeah.
for buildings and everything else. And I'm like, I paid plenty of money while I was there. I mean, I squeezed 4 years of college into 7, for goodn's sake.
I know.
Didn't they name the dorm after you out there?
No, that was
it's not
actually
anything on campus.
Yeah, no, that was on the police tape. His name was on the police tape.
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Looks like we've got some guys over in some significant tree trouble over there. We got Jeff Snook, Eric Herring, Andy Bostic, and Loopy Perez.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, I'm not sure who it was, but I did see a shot just a second ago that was it was smart golf. He ended up taking the stroke to get himself back into the center of the fairway, and now he's got a lot better approach. And, I mean, we've mentioned that before, and a lot of it does come down to just partner golf and how you want to decide you're going to tackle something like that, and if you're having to scramble, what you're going to do and what's best for you. But sometimes it is better just to get back in the fairway.
Yeah, well, and let's face it, we're looking at a 2 to 3 putt situation, and if you can go to the center of the fairway, land in front of the green, and get your bogey, your partner's probably giving you a big high five, because that gets you the base score of what we're going to see today. Even, I don't know if our championship flight guys will be bogeying as much, but I'll tell you, most everybody else is going to make bogeys on this hole. So if you can get that in the pocket, then you can go for a better score.
Yeah, for sure, because even if you do end up staying on their left side and working your way down the tree line, that doesn't help you be on that side down near the green.
And it puts you in more stress the whole time, too.
Guys, if y'all didn't know, Courtney Nagel's down here, of course, the head tennis pro here at Bentwood.
Yep.
Courtney, I noticed that there's some kids over on your courts. What are they thinking playing tennis at this time of day?
They just love tennis. We're that much fun out here.
Even when it's this hot?
You know it.
Okay. Kevin, you want to go hit some balls right now?
No, I'm not a kid. But I will tell you, just to brag on our tennis program, we had 45 kids go to the Mason Tennis Tournament this week with 2 of our professional staff, Casey Smashy and Zach Johnson, who I hope haven't needed to go into therapy yet. But anytime that you've got 45 kids at a tennis tournament, you're earning your money.
What age ranges was that?
We had everything. Courtney, tell us, what do we have?
We have some 8-year-olds all the way up to 18.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely going to need therapy.
It's a great deal, though. That's something we can talk about a little while these guys are trying to find their ball. But it's, in our junior programs in tennis, we have a very active group, and our staff does a great job of having all kinds of fun events for these kids. Our Mason tournament's one that we love every year because we get to take the kids to the river, and I don't know if you follow us on Facebook, but we had pictures of all our kids on the Facebook, all out in the river, swimming and tubing down in the Mason area, and then they get to play tennis for a couple of days. So we try to match it fun with competitiveness, and we've had a 30-year career of having just phenomenal tennis talent. And Courtney and Casey and Zach and Jason Hufford, who's actually in our golf tournament, who's a pretty good golfer, do a fantastic job programming. And it's not just about the tennis. It's about growing these kids and teaching them good values and having a good time and making Bentwood their safe place, a place for them to come and their parents know that they're in good hands.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but I believe you're still out here giving lessons yourself.
A little bit. I'm not quite retired yet. I've got 4 or 5 clients that I work with and 1 pro player that I work with. But in general, I can take no credit for our junior program. I mean, quite frankly, it's all Courtney and Casey and the group, and they just continuously bring more and more kids out here, and they start them about as quick as they can hold a racket. So really doing a good job.
Right, but they've got that other beginners tennis class too. My wife just started that last Saturday,
that's
even some older folks get to start tennis at some point.
I know, and I think that's a great point, David. Not to be silly or anything, but you know, it's never too late to start. And every year we have a new group of ladies and men, quite frankly, that are starting out, and our pros take the time to get them involved, get them in a game, get them into USTA programming. Our courts are full virtually every night, and so you know, in a sporting environment, tennis, a lot of country clubs you won't see that. So yeah, if you want to get involved in anything like that, Bentwood's the place to be.
Well, as we're looking down the fairway here into the trees, I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I didn't get word yet. I'm wondering if they were making a phone call to get some sort of a ruling on what happened.
Yeah, if you noticed, they had the ball in the center of the fairway and they went and picked it up. There's a possibility, and I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and don't quote me as a rules person for golf, that's for sure, but some of these holes where we have the mulch around the trees, there is an opportunity for a drop, and those areas are clearly marked to the players, but a lot of times these players will need a ruling from one of the rules committee, and we do have a rules committee. Obviously our head golf professional, Brett, phenomenal job, is head of that group, and they know the rules like the back of their hand. But it looks to me like that they got a ruling and were able to redo something back there, and maybe David can kind of find out when they get through what kind of went on. But and just so we continue to visit a little more about the tournament, I think it was cool because both teams went over and took a look at what was going on, and so the teams were helping each other to make the right decision. Nobody wants them to make the wrong decisions, because as you can see, even in the pro game not too long ago, you saw where there was the Phil Mickelson thing, or there's things where these little errors occur on the course, and it costs guys a lot of strokes. And so I think all the players in general are wanting each other to make the right choices and get the right rulings.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when it comes down to it, that single stroke can end up costing a lot of money. So you absolutely want to be on the same page, and the sportsmanship is great among everybody, and like you said, they just want everybody to kind of be there together and make that ruling at the same time.
Yeah, and if they have a problem, it's not unusual to have one of the rules guys, which, by the way, these little carts and Polarises that you're running about, some of those are the rules guys, and they can call them, and they can be here on the hole within a couple of minutes. So if it gets to something that they can't make a decision on, or they don't know the answer to, we got guys out there as quick as possible to help them out.
It looks like that shot there that we just saw just faded a little bit off to the right, and he ended up catching part of the tree, and it looked like that ball dropped pretty much straight down below him. So he's going to be sitting just to his right side of the cart path. Looks like he's probably going to have about 40 yards left, and that could end up being a little difficult for him. He does have the tree still above him, so he's going to make sure that he gets out below that, but with enough room to slow down and just catch the front edge of that green. And we're going to have a real good look right here from the center of the fairway. Like we said before, if he is gonna miss, he's gonna be looking for a miss to be short rather than long. If he ends up being long, he's gonna have a difficult time coming back. It looked like that ball started on the right track. Like I said, it does come up short there, but if you are gonna miss it, it is better to miss it short here. We're going to have another pretty good look at it from their left side of the fairway here. Unless that ball comes back, looks like he's going to be on the side. Oh, and it does, and that ends up being a great shot.
And got himself a nice little kick to the back towards the hole too, so that might not be a bad spot to be.
No, I think he's going to have a real good chance from over there.
Just while we're visiting a little bit, it's a great undertaking for KLST and KSAN and all the guys, and it's really groovy to see, because generally it's the same guys, that are working these cameras, the same guys working the production, same guys doing the engineering, and And it's just fun having them out here. I know it's hot. I know it's a situation where it's not what they do on a daily basis, but we're hopeful that they enjoy it. And I think the public, as many people have talked to us about it, they appreciate the effort there. Now, as you can see, he's getting relief from his stance in the fairway, and he has the opportunity to, if he drops it 2 or 3 times and it continues to push back down into it, he does have the opportunity to place that ball, which is exactly what he did. Little tree trouble coming in, but not a bad little pitch as long as it'll slow down. He's going to have a break for that putt, but considering that he couldn't get the ball to come up, and let's face it, in order to get it below the hole, coming up and down and letting it settle would have been the easiest thing to do, but with the tree in the way, that's probably about as good a shot as you.
We're going to have another look at this shot here from short, just in front of the green. We've seen this a couple times today.
Yep. And again, this is probably a flop wedge, maybe a 60-degree wedge. You know, he doesn't want to carry it all the way to the green. He'd probably want it to fall maybe a foot or foot and a half just inside in the first cut there, and let it release to the hole would be a good strategy. Now that happens a lot. And we were talking about that, and it's interesting, and it's cool that our camera angle was right on that. We were talking about how they have to keep their hands relaxed. And what that was, when you hit the ball fat like that, he's just gripping that club like there's no tomorrow. He's holding on for dear life. And when that happens, the club reacts. Conversely, the next shot coming in, much more relaxed with the hands. The ball does what it's supposed to do. But unless you're chipping and working on your game on a consistent basis, that's just not a shot that's going to come naturally to you.
No, and I think that's one of those perfect examples of you learning to let the club do the work. And I think a lot of guys try and force that ball up into the air, and you kind of just have to relax and know that that club's going to do its job and get that ball up into the air for you.
Right on. And you know, as much technology as there is out there, and we talked all about that yesterday, so much opportunity for technology in golf on a lot of fronts. No technology can fix that.
No.
You know, and that's the unfortunate part about it is there's not a club they can design that's going to help you not grip and rip a little bit like that. And it does take a couple of shots for him to relax enough. You know, you saw on his next chip shot, it was a little firm again. So maybe a cold beer and a deep breath.
I think that's pretty much just the answer to life right there, Kevin.
It is. BEERUN.
Guys, it's funny. My sister-in-law came into town last night to see our new baby, and she bought the baby a onesie that says "Need Milk" across the front of it, and she bought me a shirt that says "Need Beer."
I was just about to ask if you got the same onesie.
I'd like to see you in a onesie, Dave.
Oh no, it's not an adult onesie.
No, it's not an adult onesie.
It's footed pajamas.
Footy PJs. It's going to be a significant break here. Good looking putt, probably a little short, which I don't know if we'll see that often. Needs to mark that and set that back because it could start rolling back down the hill. This group, Jeff Snook, Eric Herring, Andy Bostic, and Loopy Perez, good guys. Play a lot of golf. Pretty much know this course. You know, we didn't talk a lot about ritual yesterday, but you'll see these guys have a fairly significant ritual that they go through each time before they hit the ball, and that's such an important part of the game. Making sure that they're exactly right. Excellent segue into that. Notice the ball started to blow a little bit, and what did he do? Step back, marked it, put the ball back down, and goes back into his ritual. The worst thing you can do is let that little adjustment in the ball there go by without doing anything about it, because it'll mess up the entire shot. Did not put any meat on the bone there. You know, and talking about that too, just that little the ball.
I think probably put him a little off as he was making that putt. He came up short-handed there because it just breaks your rhythm a little bit. I mean, I know it's smart to step away, like you said, Kevin, but sometimes you're already in that stroke mode.
Yeah, and that's when you take a little longer time. You know, if you're going to step back, you need to get all the way out of there and think about what you had for breakfast or what your girlfriend's name is or something like that, and then reload.
Yeah, and that goes into a little bit about something we were talking about yesterday when we mentioned, you know, you may have a bad shot that you make, and rather than just hurrying right up to the ball and hitting again, you really want to step back, take a little breather, and just really concentrate on the next shot, because, you know, so much of this game is mental that you can start stringing together bad shots, and, you know, you just need to get it out of your head.
Well, I think it's a fine line between and what we're seeing here with Loopy right there is the reason he was kind of straddling that area. That's in golf, you're not supposed to stand in another person's line on the green, because that can affect the roll of the ball, and it's a respect situation, but it's also kind of expected. And notice how he made his putt. He did a good job. He got his 5 in the hole, so he's got an opportunity for his partner for Andy to get an opportunity to putt it in, but. Just that great etiquette. Golf teaches you so much things about etiquette. And he just went over and above to make sure he didn't step on anybody's line. Again, a little bit yippy, and look how that ball starts to roll back down the hill. And as the day goes on and it dries out, it will do that more and more.
Yeah, and that's scary, Kevin, because that means you have the chance to see putts just like that you think are going to stop and hold, and they may end up off the front of the green.
Yeah. Next group's coming up the fairway. That's Justin McGee, John Overstreet, Bob Chesser, and Jason Chesser.
So, guys, I got a clarification from that shot that was out in the fairway earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So what had happened was Loopy Perez had gone up to the ball and thought it was his ball and hit it. And it was actually the other team's ball that he was hitting. And so then they found his a little ways back, and so that's why they had to do what they did.
Yeah, and I think by rule they have to recreate the situation as best as possible and go from there.
David, have you been having a hard time finding any shade down there? It looks like you got quite a bit of sun on that side.
Dude, I'm like a sheep in the pasture. I'm trying to find any kind of shade at all, and you know, if someone out here at Bentwood would put up some more trees or something, Kevin.
Well, as a matter of fact, in our 2019 budget, we're putting in 35 more trees. That's kind of one of our golf course deals. Now, I will say, David, I don't think it would help you at that point.
No, the trees are not going to help me at all, because usually my golf ball finds a tree.
True. That just makes it worse for you.
Yeah.
Over at the First Financial Bank trailer, we've got a little horseshoes, looks like, going on, or they've got a deal set up for everybody if they want to just come hang out and watch the guys come in onto 18 or get a cold drink or something to eat. Then we can play a little beanbag action.
Yeah, I'm going to walk over and see. We got some cornhole going on, guys.
Cornhole, yeah.
Like. Let me cross the street and see what we got going on over here.
David, I believe you are a collegiate cornhole champion.
Yes,
I am actually I am a pretty darn good cornhole player.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you.
Hey, look, Kelly Farmer's over here. Wait, hey, Kelly, come here. Come here. Don't run from me just because I have a microphone. How are you, Kelly?
She's
I'm
not
good,
running.
David. How are you?
How are we doing over here? The First Financial Bank food trailer helping out?
Yes, sir. We have delicious tamales and homemade salsa.
You gotta love that. And that's all for the players, right, Kevin?
Yeah, and I noticed that she wasn't running because of anything other than she's scared of you, David.
Yeah, she ran from me, not the microphone.
Yeah,
she's
not
just
the
scared.
microphone. Yeah.
Well, we got some guys over here playing cornhole. I don't know how good they are. If you didn't see the other night on ESPN 12, they had the American Cornhole League Championships going on.
Well, that's actually kind of even funny to say, isn't it? The American Cornhole League.
I know, the ACL.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my knees. It makes them twitch a little.
That's a little rough. Now, I want to make sure, can we check with her to make sure that this is a family show? There is no wagering going on over there on that cornhole.
Kelly, there's no wagering going on here with the cornhole, is there?
No, sir.
No, because they would never do that with the bank money.
This is a clean situation. Well, we appreciate First Financial Bank for coming out and doing all this and helping out with the tournament. You know, Chris Evat and Wes Hayes and all those guys have done a great job. We've banked with those guys for many years, so we do appreciate them, and they're a big part of what we're doing.
Well, looks like we got 3 balls right here together.
Yeah, basically what we've got is 2 teams that know this course. And Bob Chesser and Jason Chesser. Bob lives out here. Jason's his son. Comes in every year to play with his dad in this tournament. Jason grew up on this golf course as a kid. Justin McGaith actually worked at Bentwood for a long time as in our golf shop and as one of our golf staff. And so these guys kind of know what they're doing. And if you can see, they're within about 4 feet of each other. They know the best chance here is to go for a par, and they're going to play the odds as opposed to a high-risk, high-reward situation. They're taking a little low risk with a reasonable reward, and I think that's a smart move on this hole today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we've only got 1 Lone Ranger out there away from him.
Yeah.
And he's not going to have too difficult of a time from where he is, I believe.
Well, these guys, like I said, they know the course, and so they're, you know, going to try. They're probably in a fairly decent position. But if you and I were playing a tournament and one of us was right there, we'd be breathing a sigh of relief, because all the guys know 18 can sometimes swallow you up. And so it's Bob Chesser that's over here a little bit off to the edge. Here's the thing about this shot. He's got very little green to work with, and when he's got very little green, he needs to get the ball up so that it'll stop. And you know, he doesn't want to carry all the way to the green, or this ball will go all the way past. So he's going to try to chunk it up, and perfect shot right there as long as it releases out. Maybe a foot further, that could have been right at the hole.
I think you're exactly right.
And you can see Bob's got a look on his face. He knows it. He was right there, and he was right on line.
Yep, great touch there. He just needed it about a foot further, and I think he would have been really happy with that shot.
And unfortunately, that's a pretty tough putt. I mean, he's got some right to left there going, and some speed. So this would be a situation where, you know, this is his son Jason that's stepping up to the ball in the pink shirt. Dad's saying, "Hey, Jason, you know, hook me up, bro. Hook me up with a good shot." Jason's taking the flag out of the hole, which is a good technique. He wants the entire hole open for his ball. So take this is what his goal is. Didn't quite get there, but it's probably in pretty good shape. And that's a you know, a move that your better players will make. Guys like you and me, Cody, and David for sure, are going to want to leave that flag in the hole. So in case you chunk it, you're going to maybe hit the flag stake and it'll stop.
You have an opportunity to be saved there.
Yeah, Bob Chesser picks his ball up and says, "You know what, son, thank you very much for that par," and he's going to head back to the cart to go get probably just some lemonade. I wouldn't say it's going to be any adult beverage or anything. Probably lemonade.
Now, Kevin, for the viewers out there that may not know, we tend to see a lot of the guys hold their putter up in the air when they're trying to get a read on that green. Can you explain what that's doing for them?
Well, it's, you know, once you ground your club, it's a situation where you know, the earth and gravity kind of takes part, and so leaving one of the techniques these guys will use is holding that putter up, so that they don't let anything that they engage in the backswing affect the forward swing. I'm really surprised that Justin chose his putter there. Now, probably wrong because he might make it. Now, those guys, there's just so many things that can happen, and I know what level of golf that Justin can play, just because I know him. I was surprised and he's the one that's marking his ball right now. He really did not get much out of that putter coming off of that. But on the other hand, he's not past the hole, which again, our golf course professional and superintendent told me to let everybody know. At Bentwood, you want to be below the hole, and so he's below the hole. He's got an opportunity for a par here, and it just may be the right choice. Pulled it a little bit, I believe, just a little bit. Great example. These guys played this hole perfectly, and we got 1 par out of the gig.
Yeah.
So.
looks like we've got our next group coming down of Dwayne Custer, David Aycock, Michael Valdez, and Raymond Ledesma.
You know, I really, really feel sorry for Michael Valdez and Raymond Ledesma, because when you're playing with Dwayne Custer, it's kind of like being in a comedy show. Dwayne is one of our more favorite customers here at Bentwood. He's a great guy. He is funny. He's always telling jokes. He's got all kinds of quips and interesting things that he says, and he's just a great guy. And when you play with him, you're going to have a good time. I mean, and so I was kidding about feeling sorry for him, but I'm sure that if it's not going well on the course, they've been entertained, because Dwayne is one of our more entertaining dudes, and we do appreciate all his patronage. Retired from Verizon back when working for Verizon was a good thing in San Angelo. He's been there for many years, and now spends quite a bit of his time out here at Bentwood in his antique truck, and comes out and plays golf. Not a bad way to go.
Well, if you're missing entertainment and you want to go over there and watch the cornhole that's being played at the First Financial trailer, been hanging out over there since y'all talked to me a minute ago. Those guys are serious.
Did you get around in?
I did not get around in, because they're in the midst of it. I mean, it's a round-robin tournament going on right now. So.
Oh, so it's not one of those things where I just have to put up like 4 quarters on the side so they know that the table's mine?
It's not like, Midnight Rodeo or something like that. So, which you can't go there anymore because they closed that place again.
That's what I heard.
It's kind of like it's open and closed and open and closed.
I'm kind of curious as we're looking down in the fairway who has this drive, but I tell you what, it's a pretty good drive.
Well, the one it's possible that it's Raymond Ledesma. I know that he hits a pretty big ball, and then David Aycock's a pretty good hitter too. But it looks to me like David is back here in the middle of the fairway. But nevertheless, both in pretty good shape. Not a bad shot coming up here. Unfortunately, probably going to catch the trap. Yeah. He's going to see Jimmy Buffett a little bit right now, sitting on the beach.
I was really kind of waiting for you to make that reference a while ago when you were like, players to the left, players to the right. I was waiting for the Fins comment.
Yeah. It's David Aycock coming up right there. Nice smooth stroke, great camera angle on him. Should be right at the hole. Yes, sir, all over it. Mr. Aycock could be going in the hole.
It looks like that could be in gimme range,
Which
and if it is, that will be the first gimme birdie.
Yes, and I think that would require Mr. Aycock to buy us copious alcoholic beverages this evening. Because
I believe that's the rule.
Yes,
that's in the leather. There's no doubt about that.
And the only reason that happened is because KLST KSAN was up here putting him on camera. That's what I'm thinking.
Sometimes that's all it takes just a camera out, and your A game just automatically comes out.
Well, Aycock wants to be on Dancing with the Stars. This is as close as he's going to get right here. So,
have you auditioned for that yet, Kevin?
No, my wife watches it consistently, though.
Well, I've seen her dance. She's a dancer.
She is a dancer. She married a guy in the band, so she dance partners a lot. But she does a dance.
And she doesn't even have to have a partner. Sometimes she'll just get it by herself. That's what I love about her.
That's a fact. She ain't scared. Yeah, it's Raymond Ledesma with this, the biggest drive we've seen all day. Let's see if he can consummate it with a second shot.
It's looking pretty good.
Oh, that looks gorgeous, guys.
Holy cow. He backed it up just like Freddie Couples, too.
He did. He had some backspin on there and just sucked it right off the front of the green.
Our camera's off of him, but what a great job. See, Raymond goes over, gets those little sand. We have little sand bottles here that you can pick up throughout the course, because the key to keeping a golf course in great shape is maintenance. And our players are as much important to us about maintenance as the actual staff. Took that nice little divot to get that spin. He immediately went, got the sand out of the cart, filled in that area, so that way that grass is already starting to grow back, and that's a big factor in keeping a golf course in great shape.
Well, Kevin, right now we're looking at a gimme birdie.
Yes, sir.
And a short, uphill, pretty straight putt for a second birdie.
Yep.
And I don't want to jinx anything, but I think we're looking at probably the best hole that we've seen played.
Oh,
here.
There's no question. I mean, David Aycock right in the middle of the fairway, Sticks the second shot right next to the hole.
You notice he got up there quickly to mark that just so the wind didn't blow it away any farther.
Again, he's fixing his divot, helping out the course there. His partner, Dwayne Custer's coming in. Dwayne with a little chip shot there. Carries it a little bit too far, but not a bad play from where he was at. But yeah, David Aycock, great guy, realtor here in town, was a banker for a long time here in Angelo. Lives out in Christoval, has a nice place on the river out there. Just a great overall member and a member of our community. That's another thing we don't talk enough about. A lot of these guys that are playing this event are important parts of our community, and we appreciate them supporting this, but also for what they do for the community.
This is definitely going to take a touch here coming out of the sand.
Yep.
He's got about 10 feet of rough before he hits the green, and then it is going to slope downhill.
Nice full stroke, and it's the hard part. Look, he stopped it dead. The hard part about that is you got to have enough lift to get it all the way to the green, but you only got about 8 feet of green to make it stop. But you know, kind of on a regular day, that would have been a decent shot there.
Yeah, and as you said, and players taking care of the course there, he's getting that sand trap raked back out.
We definitely have a culture here of our members recognizing how important it is to maintain the turf. We live in a very dry area, and so it's a big group effort. That ball came, and that's such a great example of what we've talked about, is that, you know, that ball started the wrong way coming out of the first cut of the green, and that was the unfortunate part. He probably had that pegged perfectly, but unfortunately, because the green, the first cut is not consistent, gave himself a little bit of a bump to the left, our left, his right, and unfortunately took the ball out of the hole. Now David's going to choose to push his birdie putt in there. Ladies and gentlemen, there should be a round of applause for that. That's a heck of a play.
I believe that's going to be the first birdie of the tournament on 18.
It is. That could be a money shot right there. He could be in it. Dave, you need to get over there because David Aycock needs to be.
Do you not see me walking? I'm
I
walking.
do. I'm
trying not to walk while they're playing still, Kevin, okay?
David and I have done a lot of business together, and he knows my brand of spirits. So just let him know that we're looking forward to that.
Both guys taking a look here, trying to get the best read they can.
Michael Valdez, this is a par. This is important. They need to make this. Didn't have enough chicken on the bone, I'm afraid. Yeah, really undulated. You can see he waved his hand. It just definitely moved a lot more than he thought. He's going to go ahead and finish out, even though I think they've got a 5 already. You know, that's the other thing. You know, we talk about that. A lot of these golfers want to finish the hole, even if they're not, you know, even if they're not in a situation where it matters. It helps them stay consistent, helps them do the things they need to do to keep them focused. And unfortunately, for Alex there, that was a little tough hole for him. You know, David, it might be good to visit with Dwayne Custer about what it's like to actually be a partner with such a great player as David Aycock.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get that to happen here. So, David, we got to talk to you because you're the first one to get a birdie on the 18th during our webcast at all.
Really? That's you'll see a few more today where that pin is, so I'm not going to be the only one.
I'm not sure about that. That was a great shot you had.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it very much.
How's it going so far for you guys through 7?
Got us going back the right direction, so we're going to keep on going. All right. Yeah.
Thank you. How is it? Because Kevin Collins sitting up in the booth, he wants to know how it is to play with Aycock.
It's great. Sit down here. I'm going to show you something. This is how I keep him.
Oh, hey, I'm going to get in this cart right here because they have this cooler thing right here with some PVC pipe. It's like an air conditioner in here, guys. It's right on the back of my neck.
You know,
can I just finish around, David?
Sure.
No.
What's funny is Dwayne's like the guy on Fast Time at Ridgemont High's dad. He has a great set of tools, and he knows how to fix stuff up.
Thanks, guys.
Next group's coming up. Just got a visit from Clay Friend. You know, we didn't. I don't know if we mentioned him in the newscast yesterday. Clay Friend is he works his food for us over here. He has his Cotton's Catering. Does a lot of work around the Bentwood area. He's a member of our club, but is also a big part of our partnership every year. And he comes out and donates his time and efforts.
Dang it! I was hoping he wasn't coming back there. Like 10 pounds from all of his food.
It's about as good a food as you'll ever put in your mouth. He is actually over on number 1 this year. He was on number 10 last year, which is probably going to help you with your diet, Dave. But he just stopped by the booth just to check to see if there was anything he could get for us. So we really appreciate Clay and his patronage and his donation to the overall event.
Well, looking down at the next group of guys coming up, we see some pretty typical shots over here. Looks like we got a few of them off to their right side in the trees again.
Yes, sir. That tree is better known as Bartsville. Jeremy Bartz played this tournament for years. I don't think he's in the field this year, but he's made a living in that spot. This is the Alex Ramos, Dick Sheffield, Craig Elwaymaker, and Jamin Burke. Like I was talking about yesterday, Dick Sheffield puts in the time on the course. He knows the course. He practices. He works hard at it. He's the guy that in January, when it's like 30 degrees, he's out on the tee. He's hitting a few balls, or he's inside our teaching center working on his game. We do have 2 teaching bays here at Bentwood that are indoor. So even in the wintertime, our pros, and actually we utilize that for a lot of the local high schools, and hopefully in the near future, we'll become the home of the ASU Rambells, where we're working with ASU to try to create an opportunity there for the ASU Lady Rambells to have a home place to practice and a home course. And so we're actually visiting with them later this month to try to work out an option there. We've had a great relationship with Angelo State and want to continue that, and it's a perfect scenario.
Did you tell me that you have a way now for me to play golf all year round, Kevin?
Well, you can practice all year round. You can actually play all year round. It just depends how tough you are. Now, in our noon group, you know, the average age in our noon group is 75 or so. They're out here every day if it's 30 degrees, so it's really hard for me to feel sorry for you, Cody, when those guys can get out here. So you can probably handle it. Now, whether you want to or not, it's a different story.
I think that's half the battle. You know, it's hard to get that want to up when it's 30 degrees, because I tell you what, we don't have many of those days in San Angelo, so I'd kind of rather just take that in and enjoy the day.
Yeah. Well, having the opportunity to build these indoor teaching facilities, we're looking at putting in launch monitors and that sort of stuff. It helps our younger golfers and our junior golfers, but also our college golfers here in town. And let's face it, if you're living in San Angelo, you're living in a community. We all work together, and you know, it's not like living in Houston and Dallas where everybody's just a number. You know, we all work together, whether it's with the school system or with the colleges. You know, it's a family affair here in San Angelo, and that's what we love about living here. That's Dick Sheffield right there practicing his stroke. Dick must be a tidbit of you know, he's a little bit superstitious, because I believe that's the same shirt he was wearing yesterday. Hopefully he got that thing cleaned before he started again today.
As long as he changed his socks, Kevin,
there
I
you
think
go.
we'll be good.
Hey, whatever works for you. Nice, almost perfect swing, guys. I mean, you know, right there, Brett Balin or any of our pros would have said, you know what, that's a swing you might want to mimic. Dick's a little bit off to the right here. Probably not particularly happy with that, because he does know the course, pulled it just a tidbit, but he knows what he's doing. He'll recover from that. Little tree trouble here. Got up and out of it. We'll see where it goes. Oh, a little bit long.
Unfortunately, kind of getting out of there too well.
Yeah, well, and you know, when you've got to come up out of those trees like that, you've got to make sure you get it up, and a lot of times it makes you carry the ball a little bit further. You know, the pros will tell you when you're in that situation to club down a little bit and play for a shorter distance, because you're going to muscle it a tidbit more.
Speaking of changing shirts, Kevin, I don't know if you noticed, but I can hear you better today because David changed his shirt and it's not as loud.
Well, we made a quick call to his wife and said, listen, man, can you dress the guy? Just, will you help us out just a little bit?
Really?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that?
It could be.
Well, you know, she's been having such a tough time with the new baby, and she's been so busy. I know you've been having to dress yourself, and that gets difficult.
And I dressed myself today. I just did not want to hear y'all complain about the brightness of my shirt, so that's why I'm in a nice gray and black and burning up out here.
Again, solid choice for this weather out here, David.
Alex Ramos coming in. This is actually his third shot, so he needs to put this thing fairly close. He's a little bit on the dance floor, but is going to have to work it a little bit to make his par.
Yeah, it just didn't release the way he wanted to right there. When it stuck, it kind of rolled back on him as opposed to giving him that kick and release what he was hoping for.
You know, the interesting thing is had he gotten the release, that ball would have gone down to the hole, and that's something we need to be looking for as our flights get stronger and our championship guys, if they happen to come through here, you know, they'll hit it there and release it, and it'll actually bend down to the hole. And that's both Dick and his partner, Alex, both made an attempt at that and just didn't quite get enough there.
Well, that's what we saw to Jason Calhoun earlier with that shot that he made from, you know, I hate to refer to Jason.
Yeah.
Give him a hard time, but it was a great earlier because it played in from that, you know, left to right, and once it hit, it just kind of checked over there to the hole.
Yeah, that's a great point you make, and that's really knowing the course and knowing the holes individually, knowing where you need to put them and let that ball release to come out rather than just going straight for the pin.
Well, and it's clear that they made the choice to take the tidbit more dangerous approach of trying to take the course and work the hole instead of stopping down in front and playing for their par. Now, this right here is one of the hardest shots in golf.
Well, I tell you what, having these stances is just never fun.
But I think he might like that. That ball's going to turn. It's going to come on down, I believe. He may have gone through it a little too far, but, you know, just surviving that would be something we would be tickled pink with.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much that can go wrong in that swing, and, you know, to come out with that shot, I think you can be happy with that.
Most definitely. This is Jamin Burke coming up. He's played it smart. That's a very makeable par putt, and I think he's got an opportunity there to get that par.
Guys, I'm kind of jealous. My niece and nephew are over here with me. They're all the way in from Atlanta, and they've been over in the pool over here.
Yeah.
Rachel, is the pool a lot better than being out here in the sun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's real talkative, by the way. So.
Well, she must get that from you, David.
Yeah, I don't talk a lot at all.
Well, we're glad they're here, and hopefully they'll have a good time in San Angelo all the way from Georgia. Is that what you said?
Hot Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep. Well, I bet it's cooler in Georgia than it is here right now.
You know it is.
All right, we've got the hole kind of surrounded here, and now if there's anybody at Bentwood that can make this, Sheffield, and, you know, because he has analyzed this entire course. He knows it. He's got a feel for it. And, you know, if we see somebody make it today, if we had to lay wagers, I would say Dick would be my #1 guy outside the championship flight. You know, these guys are, you know, it's so cool to watch them communicate with each other, too, because they're talking each other up, or they're really taking the time to figure out, you know, okay, what's going to be the best option here? And Dick's going to go, and I believe what he's going to do is he's going to go down and look at it from several different angles. And he sees how that ball is going to move around the edge of that ridge. And a lot of times walking that ridge will help you see it better, because it can become an optical illusion, you know, that you don't see.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing, Kevin. You know, he got up here closer to our side on the slope so he could see how it sloped down to the hole once it got up there, because you know he's going to have to hit it up this way and then let it go back down to the hole, so he wanted to see how it was going to trickle down that way.
He's got to get his pocket protractor out to figure out the angles and stuff here, you know what I mean?
Geometry was the only math class I liked, so, you know.
I failed it miserably. All right, Dick's going to take a shot at it. He does get to keep the flag in the hole since he's off the green, so he's choosing to see if that might help him. got it started, but he's not going to be happy with that because, again, I think he was a little preoccupied of coming out too hot out of the first cut. But look at this ball; it is still moving, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, and now I will say this: that's the straightest putt on this course right now. Is where he's at. Now he's probably not happy about being 5 or 6 feet out, but putt coming back.
Yeah, that grass in the fringe caught him a little bit too. I don't know if you noticed that or not. He had a smooth stroke coming out of there, but it was just a little piece of that grass at the very edge of the fringe that kind of caught the ball and slowed it down.
And you know, when you've got a course where the greens are this fast, you know, a lot of times if the greens are a little slower, you can kind of push that ball on through that hairy part on the first cut, but not here. If you push it too far, you know, you're going to go past the hole. So it's a dicey situation for these guys. I'd like to thank the ASU football team. A bunch of guys from ASU have come out to help us run ice and trash and all kinds of stuff. And boys came out here nice and early, and it's always nice to see the football players carrying the ice. Us little tennis players, you know, that ice is heavy. This is a good extra workout for them. And these guys are coming out in between their actual workouts and stuff, getting ready. So we appreciate those guys coming out. This is a birdie putt, and it's a toughie. But you know, maybe it's possible Alex went to school on Dick's putt. Unfortunately, he didn't get much coming out of the fringe, so he might not have learned as much as he could have. Oh.
Looks like he had a pretty good stroke
Yeah,
there,
he
Kevin,
did,
and just was
so
slightly offline there.
For sure, and our camera angle was kind of cool too, because it's almost like they hit that putt and they all stand up and just start kind of looking at it, you know, just to see, you know, is it going to be the right spot, you know, because it is a certain amount of uncertainty as to what the right spot would be. Now these guys are wanting to make very sure that they get their par in here. It's interesting there too. See the way that Dick is moving his mark. See, in golf, if his mark is going to be in the line of another putter's ball, he has to find a way to mark that ball, but also be able to put it right back where it was. So a lot of times guys will use the end of their putter or, you know, something of that nature and use a point of reference. I think he was probably using this tree over here as his point of reference, and that got his ball mark out of the line of the other putter. This is a straight putt, and as you see, he was practicing a little bit behind the ball. It's just basically get your club through the ball and hit it straight. Got it.
That's a great save there.
Yeah, it is, and I think that it's interesting. You know, I was only up here for a couple, 3 hours yesterday, but we did get to see Dick and his partner come through, and it was almost a complete, you know, duplication of what happened yesterday. Was able to take that 5 or 6 footer, and that's why he scores well and plays well all the time. And that's because he's able to make those 5 and 6 footers. And I know Dave doesn't like the P word, but I think the 5 and 6 footers get easier the more you practice.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. You know, you start to get that feeling. You know, it's that muscle memory when you really get out and practice the putts like that, and you just remember how to do it.
Yeah. Well, and you're used to it, and it makes a big difference. Jamin Burke, no, quite make his putt. They take 5 on the hole. Got a little bit of a break, looks like. Guys are over on the side of the fairway over in the, I don't know, that's pretty much the landing area this weekend.
You know, I think that's pretty much just the standard area to put your drive.
You know, and again, we talked about it yesterday, is it's, you know, some of this, you know, we see it, and our camera angle shows all these trees around these guys, and it looks just precarious. But, you know, in certain spots, I mean, there's a straight shot to the hole. So,
yeah, there really is, and I know we've mentioned that before, but for those of you out there who didn't hear it or need a recap, when you are on that right side, like Kevin said, there are quite a few trees, but at the same time, you do have options. You've got options to come out low. You've got options to come out high and go over them, and it does actually open up a little bit from that side. So being in the trees on that side is definitely not as scary as being in the trees on the opposite side of the fairway, because you have a lot less options over there.
Well, and the thing is tree is 90% air, except for David Wagner. The tree is 90% tree. But in general, that's what the golfers say. You know, you look at a tree, don't look at it and think that it's all trees. You know,
right.
And so it's a good way to think about it. So don't let that tree affect you that much. But on the other hand, you know, it does matter where they are, whether they come out low or come out high. Most of these guys, especially where the pin placement is today, are wanting to come out high, because the one thing you don't want to do is scull it through the green, you know, and be on the back side here. We've been out here for, you know, almost an hour and 40 minutes, it looks to me like, you know, and we haven't had but one guy on this side of the green. There isn't a single guy playing on this side of the green.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and I think they know that. You know, they don't want that ball running forever. So if you do have the option to go up and over, that ball's going to stop and stick in place. I think just like we see right
case
there.
In point, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, it looks like Caitlin Cisco. I think it was Trey Cisco. I just got a glance at him, but perfect example of exactly what you were saying. I mean, he is in perfect shape right now to make a par, and let me tell you something, he'll go to the bank on that par.
So, Kevin, we know that this tournament is 3 days for these guys. Is it a combined score for all 3 days at the end? That's what determines placement?
Yes, and in their flights. Basically, yesterday they're playing in groups. Once they play the first round, their scores dictate which flight they go in. Once they're flighted, then all 3 days scores work towards the final score in that flight. Now, we do have, like we talked about yesterday, we've got day money that takes into consideration only the stuff that happens that day. We have skins, which indicate anybody who has the best score in their flight on any particular hole. And then we also have the player pool, which takes into consideration the second 2 days scores. So there's so many opportunities for these guys to actually score and make money, or, you know, whether it's merchandise, money, or whatever. It's such a great thing, because, you know, in tennis, when I played tennis, I mean, there's one winner. I mean, pretty much.
Right.
You know, and so out here, you know, even if you're in last place in your flight, and I think we were talking about, I think Jason or somebody said that they were the last place in their flight, they still have an opportunity, 3 or 4 different opportunities to be, you know, successful. And I think that's what makes golf so palatable, and playing golf tournaments palatable for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, unfortunately, you may finish in the bottom of your flight, but you still have the opportunity, like you said. You may come out and have a birdie on a hole that nobody else had one on, and you walk away with the skin. And
well, you know, I don't know if I told the story yesterday, because I'm 53 and getting old, and I don't remember stuff, but Tim Vasquez and I played this tournament for many years, and won the horse race, which was the first part of the tournament, and finished dead last. I'm not kidding. We were the last place team in the entire tournament, but we still scored over $1,000 in money, because we won the horse race the first day. So even though it was a miserable 3 days with Tim, for me, I don't know about Tim, he can speak for it, but at least the first day we thought we're kings of the world. So it makes that fun. It's Caitlin Horwood, I think, coming in. I'm pretty sure that's his drive. If that's the case, that's a pretty good spot to be in. Again, he's playing for that side to have it trickle down to the green and carried it a little further. You can see as our camera fades towards the ball, you can see him looking down at where he hit. He's like, he knows that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, he's a little frustrated with that, because you could tell that, just like you're saying, where he landed on the ridge, he was hoping that it was going to trickle on down to the hole, and he just didn't get that roll once it stuck.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be really tough to get today. You know, just the wind is going to affect where that ball lands. The cut on the fringe is pretty high there.
whatever.
But what was interesting about it is Jason Calhoun played it right, but everybody else has not had as good a result. Got this green surrounded.
Well, again here, Kevin, I think we're going to see a few. As you said, they pretty much have it surrounded.
We got David Vance and Doug Chitsey. Doug in the white hat with the black interior part, and David in the safari cap walking across the green. They're playing with Trey Cisco and Caitlin Horwood. All four of these guys play this tournament every year and play this course a lot, and are good members and patrons of Bentwood Country Club, and we appreciate them for that. Not necessarily, I don't think if we ask them if this was the best situation they've been in, I wouldn't think they would take it, but I do know that these guys know the course. And so let's see if they can make a nice recovery like we've seen happen so far with Dick Sheffield and his group. This is Doug Chitsey. He's got a pretty good lip on that trap to get over. Looks like he played it pretty dang well. It's probably going to carry through. Not entirely sure there was a way to stop that ball. Yesterday, David actually got in that bunker while we were on camera, and it showed you can't tell it from where we are on the camera angle, but he's a good 6 or 8 feet underneath the lip of that. He can't even see the hole from where he's at, so that's a tough shot. Caitlin Horwood coming up. He's got a straight putt, but it's an 8-10 footer, so he's left a little chicken on the bone.
Yeah, again, he came up a little short there, but with that putt to have left, I think it could be a lot worse. And like you were saying about the previous shot, it doesn't look like a great shot that you saw on camera here, but I tell you what, that is definitely a ridge over there, and for that touch to come out and just stop right there, I would be happy with that every day of the week.
For sure. Boys, Caitlin and his group, Trey and Caitlin, little bumpy coming off of there, and you can see he looked down and he took that little swing with his hand. He's disappointed because realistically he has an easy read on that, but boy, he got 3 bad bounces coming out of there, and that's just not something you're looking forward to.
This putt coming up here, it's going to need a bit of a delicate touch. It is going to have some right to left, and he's going to need to control his speed for sure.
Yeah, and he's leaving the pin in there for a reason, because if that thing's going pretty quick and he hits the hole, he wants it to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never fun when you barely touch it and end up on the other side of the green.
Now that ball's going to turn. Watch it. Watch it come back. Look at that.
It was trying.
It sure was. And I mean, he's even looking at his competitors there like that was about as good as it can get.
He's going to go ahead and mark that one, but I believe he's inside the leather. So that one should be good. Just telling his partner here how it looks from that side, how far out he thinks he should play it.
Well, and that's interesting because they're both coming from opposite sides of the green, but that break is about the same on both sides coming across.
Yeah, and it's like you were talking about earlier, it's nice just to have another set of eyes looking at that line. There might be something that you hadn't seen or that he'd seen from completely opposite of your angle. That's not a bad putt there,
No.
but as you can see, it's just going to have a hard time stopping and end up almost all the way back to that fringe. Now this putt here coming up, this is a very makeable putt.
Yeah, and we've seen it, you know, several times, and it's again a matter of getting the club head going and just letting it work and getting a nice follow through going up the hill.
Just off the edge there.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Got one more putt over here from this side to close out this group's number 18. Of course, they are not done for the day. They did tee off on 11, so they still have the turn to make and another 9 to play.
It's really nice. I think the pace of play has been really good today. You know, in past years, great putt by the way.
Yeah, real good
again,
putt there.
Got that club head moving forward and just wasn't afraid of it and just let it happen. But we've had where there's been some gaps, but we've had a really, really good pace of play today, and I think it's good for the players and the tournament. Doug Chitsey takes his par, pretty dang good par there. And looks like David's going to go ahead and finish his as well.
Gonna take one more look at it there.
Again, probably it's a possibility that that ball started to jiggle a little bit. There is a little bit of a wind there, and they're sitting on the edge. And those guys can step up and mark that ball as much as they want, as long as they place it properly. And once they finished it, they can clean their ball once it's on the green. They can't touch the ball before it's on the green, but once it's on the green, they can do that. Good ritual from David. Nice smooth stroke there too. Ball was very true coming off, so probably he's not upset with his putt because he did what he wanted to. Maybe missed his read a tidbit.
Well, as they go ahead and put the flag back in there, we're going to take a break, so we will be back shortly with our continued coverage of the 2018 Men's Partnership out here at the beautiful Bentwood Country Club.
Needs our help. You want fast and efficient service that you can trust. That's why at Concho Bell Bonds, we are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. With and we accept all major credit cards. Y habla español. At Concho Bell Bonds, it is better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us.
We know Texas weather is different from the rest. That's why you should trust the KSAN-Concho Valley Storm Team.
We were born and raised in the great state of Texas.
And that makes us better prepared to keep you ahead of the storm.
Whether it's winter weather, severe storms, or extreme heat.
We know this weather because we've lived this weather.
Trust the KSAN-Concho Valley Storm Team to keep you ahead of the storm every day.
My father passed his truck down to me. That's the same thing I want to do with you.
It's an emotional thing to watch your child grow up, and especially get behind the wheel.
I want to keep, stacking up the memories and the miles and the years.
He's going to get mine, but I'm going to get a new one.
When it's time for your old Chevy truck to become their new Chevy truck, there's Truck Month. Get 18% of MSRP cash back on all Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT Texas Edition pickups. That's $9,000 on this Silverado. Plus, during Truck Month, make no monthly payments for 90 days.
San Angelo now under a very real threat. Severe thunderstorm warning coming in from the north side.
And we are also looking for the potential of hail coming from this storm as well, waiting for confirmation either.
We're getting reports of quarter-sized hail and wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour.
Right, thanks. 80 mile an hour, quarter-sized hail. All right, guys, we got to cut in immediately. Thanks. Good evening, Concho Valley. Thanks for staying with us. Breaking news, a severe thunderstorm warning has been...
I'm Tommy Clark, General Manager of Ameripride Services. As a native of San Angelo, I appreciate the sense of family that exists here. Ameripride considers our customers our family. Thank you for choosing Ameripride Services for your uniform and linen needs.
Remain informed on breaking news with the updated Concho Valley homepage app. Now containing severe weather alerts, push notifications, extended weather forecasts, and more. Download the Concho Valley homepage mobile app today. Available on iPhone, iPad, and Android.
Cake's here. Oh.
You know what doesn't make sense? What we're paying for just satellite TV, I think we could be getting TV and internet from Suddenlink for less.
It's just not right.
Can I see my cake, please?
Switch to Suddenlink and get TV and internet for less. It just makes sense. Call 877-733-1324.
It's hard work and sacrifice, and never even thinking twice, and it's waving at people you don't know. Cause that's how we're born and how we're raised. The Concho Valley is our place. It's cheering for the blue and the gold. Local is your neighbors, local is your friends, local is a place you've always been. Then I love the way KSAN's local every day.
Welcome to Dreamscapes, the Concho Valley's premier outdoor living design center. Choose from a variety of custom outdoor fire pits, pergolas, and other outdoor accessories to help complement your outdoor style. We sit down with you to help design your dream outdoor living space. We offer a wide variety of grills to choose from, including pellet grills, gas, charcoal, and ceramic, along with all the extra amenities to complement that new grill. Visit us today so we can get started on bringing your outdoor living space to reality. Right here at Dreamscapes, located at 3602 South Chadwick.
There's the storm. There's the warning. It covers Paint Rock. It covers areas north of Eden.
Exactly on the 1-year anniversary. I don't know what the odds are on that. We'll do the calculations later. Power going out again. I don't even know what count that is. Maybe 12 or 13. Now 13. 14. Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, to Concho Valley Homepage's coverage of the 2018 Men's Partnership out here at Bentwood Country Club. I'm joined now by David Wagner. Kevin Collins decided that he was just having way too much fun.
Well, that's not true. Kevin just had to go take care of a little something that we put him on, because while we're doing the live webcast, we do still have our normal television programs, which Concho Valley Live is actually live out here at Bentwood Country Club today. So our Erin Bailey, our host of that show, is doing her show live, and Kevin and Christy, who is the lead singer of Boogie Town, their band that will be performing out here later tonight, they are going to do an acoustic set on Concho Valley Live here in just a little bit on the back patio. So Erin is doing her show live, and once Kevin and Christy get done with their song set, just about 4:20, 4:25, something like that. So if you want to flip on the TV and catch that, you can do that, and then come back to the live streaming cast, or have them both on for that matter. Watch them both.
I think
Turn on the TV, see that.
Time, right?
You know, multitask a little bit and check that out. And as soon as that happens, as soon as Erin gets done with that show, she will join us over here for the webcast and get to do some of the roving reporting that I did earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we've got a great-looking shot right there, David. And as we have this next group coming up here on 18, it's a group of Clint Adams, Wes Evans, R.T. Mackey, and Brandon Dormus. And I don't know if any of you guys have caught our coverage of the Texas Dual Golf Tournament that has been taking place out here at Bentwood. But something worth noting is this is a great example right here of this team coming up that shows the difference between a low ball tournament and a scramble in a tournament. And what I mean by that is we have Mackey and Dormus here in the Texas Duel. A week ago, these guys in a scramble format shot 15 under.
Wow.
They came out here yesterday and they shot 1 under. And that just goes to show you, you know, the difference in scoring potential in the different types of tournaments.
I tell you what, Dormus there with his shot, and what a great shot he hit coming in. I think it's their clothes today. They came out with the very loud shorts. And if you didn't catch it yesterday when I was down there talking to them, they probably have the best 2 mustaches out here for the partnership tournament.
If we have a mustache contest, they're going to win it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's all the one. I think it's Brandon's. It's almost like Raleigh Fingers. If you remember Raleigh Fingers, the old pitcher for
I do.
Back in the day, yeah, he's got a great stash.
Well, and I tell you what, you are not lying. The shorts today are just killing it.
What? I can't hear you for their shorts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll have to wait until they're a little further away from us, and
yeah.
I can say that again.
Yeah. And Dormus and Mackey, I'm not sure if that was... Now, RT's wife is our judge out in Erie County, actually.
Yeah, a couple real good-looking shots for them. Both approaches are within 10 feet, it looks like, out there. So they're going to have a good run at this one. Now it looks like over on the side, this is going to be a tricky shot over here. He's got the trees above him. He's going to have to go over the sand. And wow, I tell you what, he got that ball to stick exactly where it landed.
That's a great shot by Wes Masters. Great shot.
Yeah, now he's got a real good look at bringing that one back.
So Clint Adams now, once he decided exactly what he wanted to do, if he wanted to use his lob wedge or maybe his putter. He's trying to figure out just the fringe there, see if there's anything to stop it.
You heard Kevin Collins speaking earlier about the importance of keeping those hands relaxed in shots like that. If you are going to chip them, those short chips right off the edge of the green, it's really easy to kind of grip that club too hard, and that's going to hinder your swing going through.
You can see some of the gallery in the back there. They were waving at the camera. Our results from flights 4 through 7 are now posted on Conch Valley homepage. So you can go on there to see flights 4 through 7, how they finished up today in their second round. Clint just hit that a little too hard, went past the hole, and then of course trickled down all the way off the green. Not happy with that club. Because you know it's the club's fault.
It's always the club's fault, David. I was looking over there. I think we're going to have to send somebody over to get an update on the cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
We need to
I think
get those results posted online as well.
Finished those up over there, and now the winner's paying up with a 12-ounce can, so. Again, we appreciate everybody tuning in to Conch Valley homepage today to check out the live streaming cast of the 2018 Men's Partnership Tournament here at Bentwood Country Club. You know, if you do get the opportunity to come out a little bit later, you can always do that. Adams tried to help it with a little body language. Didn't. He might have pulled a muscle trying to get that there, but.
Well, you know, it could be worth it if you can will that ball to go in.
Yeah. It's always worth it if the body language helps it go in, but. These guys teed off back on number 11 just before 2 o'clock at about 1:50. West Masters just rolling that past the hole. Again, this pin placement today pretty tough for these golfers all the way around. It's on that slope, the front slope of the green.
Yeah, you know, it's like we were talking about earlier. The pin placement should actually allow for more birdies today, but it's all dependent on that approach shot.
But even the golfers that we've seen that have left the ball down at the base of the green, which is where you want to be coming up, a lot of them just have not been able to find the line. So even though the pin placement is where it should probably give better birdie opportunities, a lot of folks are just not either getting it to the hole or they're leaving it right or left of it. Mackey leaving his a little short. A little downtrodden there. See what Dormus does now with his.
And this is another birdie attempt here, so we'll see if we can see our second one.
And Dormus,
got it.
A great shot.
That is our second
Nice
birdie
putt.
of the tournament.
Little side 5 there for Mackey and Dormus.
Oh, slap of the hands. They know how difficult 18 can be. And that's a great score there.
Judge Penny Roberts there. R.T. Mackey is her son-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Her daughter, the judge in Erie County. Leslie Mackey. Part of the gallery following her son-in-law.
Looks like in this next group up here, Charles Harsky, Charles Odom, Danny Simmons, and Mark Vega. Looks like we got a ball out in the fairway here. He's just past that ridge. Just about over halfway in the hole, and I believe he's got probably about 160 left to to the pin.
Yeah, coming over that ridge, we figured it's right around 170, 173, right?
Yeah, I think right on top of that ridge, we're looking at it right at 175. That's what we were guessing earlier. So we know that Harsky and Odom, they finished up yesterday 1 under. And the shot could turn out really good. Looked like it was a good line, and you know, that one just didn't come back and ended up staying on that side and then landed in that trap.
Yeah, leaking out to the right a little bit. He gave it a good swing, but it's almost like he stopped his follow-through. If you saw that, he stopped it right at the top as opposed to letting it come all the way back around his body, and a lot of times that'll do it. You'll just push it out that way. So Simmons and Vega now.
Danny Simmons and Mark Vega, they finished up yesterday at 4 under. So they had a nice round of 68.
And this is actually still Hartsky and Odom. I guess his ball was over under the tree. You know, I've noticed a lot more of the large brim hats today.
I tell you what, you kind of come out here the first day and think you're used to that sun because you live in it, and then you play around a golf in it and you realize that it doesn't matter how much you're out in it. I don't know if you can really get used to it, so you kind of do everything you can to not let it beat you down the next day you come out.
Yeah, 6 hours in that heat, especially a lot of these guys we saw on takeoff. They were finishing up about this time yesterday, so they're playing in the heat of it today. So
well, he's got a good look at it right here. Perfect side of the fairway.
Mark Vega.
That's the club. Yeah, it's got the distance. He had the line.
Oh, didn't get a very good kick right there in front of the green.
Really didn't. But you know, if you're gonna miss it, you definitely want to miss it short right in front right there, because you still have a really good look at it. Just gonna fill in his divot there as they move along. As Kevin said earlier, there's a great community out here. These guys that play this course all the time, they really take care of it, and that's why it's so nice. You know, everybody's kind of involved in keeping it that nice. It's not just the staff, it's all the members that are out here.
Well, it takes a team effort all the way around. I mean, you may have a great green staff and greenkeeper that tries to do everything, but if the members aren't taking care of the course while they're playing, you know, filling in their divots and everything else and ball marks, repairing those on the greens, and they can't get out. The greens staff can't get out and take care of everything. So it is a team effort all the way around, members to everything. You go to a lot of public courses and play, and you know, you'll be trying to putt and all of a sudden your ball rolls through a ball mark, because a lot of the public courses, the public just doesn't care. It's not my course. I'm just paying to play here this one time. So
yep, unfortunately that's very true, David.
everybody's scrambling to find shade while we're waiting for the next player to hit. He's trying to take it up over the trees. Did a pretty good job, but left it a little short. Just that grass right down in front of the green, catching it and keeping it from rolling up on there. But still in good position. You'd rather be down below it than above it.
Sure, and it looks like he actually came out pretty clean. I don't think it caught any branches or leaves or anything coming out.
No, he got a lot under it, a lot of loft up over the tree, and it didn't catch anything that I could see either, because of course we lost sight of it as it got higher above with the tree hanging down in front of us right here. But the way it came down, it would have that line that he was on, it shows that it was pretty true. Look at this shot. Oh.
You know, that had potential to be really good. There's a little bump and run up there, but Unfortunately, these are just so fast out here right now that he landed it a little further than he wanted to and just went right past the hole.
Yep, shots of the gallery. The ladies following their guys around, or friends and family. Now out of the sand here. Good job getting out, but
hot beach over there. That shot might have been a little better if someone got him a margarita.
It's always going to be better with a margarita, right?
Well, they definitely have all four corners of this hole covered.
Yeah, it looks like they have it surrounded right now. Of course, Hardsky, the only one up above the hole. Vega there in his orange shirt. Taking a gander at it.
We saw this putt earlier, and the last time we saw it, I believe that it was the putt that took a few random bounces right in that first cut as it was coming through.
Yeah, that grass just kind of caught it again there. You could see as it came out, once it got on the green, it was already kind of hopping on him. Just not helping him give a true roll. Try and mark that and flatten it out for Vegas since he's a little bit in his line.
I think Vega knew there when he hit that one. His putter kind of got caught in the grass and he didn't really get a good stroke on it.
Yep, not real happy with it. I know a lot of my buddies would have said, you want to use your other purse next time you hit that? So, it's just how nice they are when we're playing golf.
Well, you can really see from that angle there how much break that had.
Wow, that was such a great, he gave it a great run right there. Just a little, probably an inch or two too far to the right. So,
you know, David, one thing I appreciate so much about the game of golf is it's one of the sports where wearing a visor is still widely accepted.
that and girls softball. So,
very true. Two of my favorite sports.
Odom now. Try to help out his partner. Just left it under it.
Yeah, that one just didn't quite get there. Vega here now. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. Dead center of the cup there.
And our Our next group out in the fairway, Jake Farr, Troy Jenneke, Philip Bailey, and John Bailey. Coming from our right side, the left side of the fairway.
You know, that's a real nice leave from over there, David. Because that can get super tricky, like we were talking about earlier. You don't always have a nice opening through the trees. It's not always clear whether you're going to go under or over or around. And, you know, sometimes you get stuck, and he left himself right there just in front. So I think he's going to be in good position there.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's better, like you said, just to save face and kind of punch it back out into the fairway, as opposed to letting the testosterone get the better of you, which I think we all do at one time or another as a golfer. I can make that shot. Right up until you hit it, and then you're like, why didn't I just play smart?
Yeah, you know, I think I've said that phrase more than accomplished that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
But right there, we just saw another really nice shot from back on the opposite side of the fairway behind the right side trees, or our left side trees. He got above them, came out clean, and left himself, looks like almost pin high there. He had great distance, about 15 feet off the pin. That was a real good shot.
That's Troy Jenneke there. He will probably bring it over the trees, knowing how he plays.
Well, like we were talking about with that pin location tucked in so tight in the front, if that is an option at all, they're usually going to lean that way, get the ball out high above the trees and let it stick, rather than trying to get it to stop from running.
I don't think anybody should be running in this heat.
Oh, I agree. That's not the smartest thing.
Not too bad, but just off that first cut of the green and in that first part of the rough there. So a little work left for Jenneke. We'll just go up the fence line a little bit, and that's where one of the Bailey brothers is looking to go. Philip and John.
I believe that we have Aaron Bailey stepping out here in a bit. I wonder
I don't know if
she
they're
knows
related.
Her, long-lost relatives around here playing.
If Aaron will finish up her Concho Valley live show and come over here, we'll have to ask her. Maybe she'll get here when they get on the green, and we can see if that's if there is any relation.
Well, unfortunately, it looked like he left himself a little open there, and that ball dropped right up into the sand trap off the green. And as we've seen, that's a tough shot from over there today.
Jenneke and Farr making their way up.
That's a good-looking golf cart there, David, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, that's the great thing. There's a lot of members out here that, you know, have their own carts. So they bring those for the partnership and drive those around. And then there's those folks maybe who don't live at Bentwood that just use the club carts. But I know Kevin is... They work a good deal with the other country club in town to borrow each other's carts during their partnerships, and they work really well together.
Well, with the price of gas where it is now, I may look into a golf cart to take me to work and back.
Well, as long as you have that, what is it, slow-moving triangle on the back of it, I don't think the police department will. As long as you have lights and blinkers, you can do that.
We'll be good to go. I may have to leave a couple hours early to work, but...
If you get one with a speed chip, you'll be all right. Some of these carts move pretty fast.
Tuned up and good to go.
I've seen a few of these that do 50, 55 miles an hour.
Well, that just seems a bit unsafe there, doesn't it?
It depends on how quickly you take a turn.
Not a bad out there. Just carried it a little too far. Ball released, and unfortunately has ended up where we've seen quite a few others today.
so far now. Looking at his chip. And he's pretty straight up the hill. I mean, if he keeps his hands pretty still, he's going to have a pretty easy. You just really want to bump that just over the fringe and let it run in the hole. He had a really nice shot. It just didn't get up enough. It leaked a little left on him.
Yeah, that was a nice touch there, though. And, I mean, it looks from here like it's inside the leather, but they'll obviously have a better look at it down there.
Yeah, he's going to mark it, so it must be outside just from the eye's view there. So we've been talking about the heat today, something that you might want to check out on the KSAN Facebook page. And our meteorologist, chief meteorologist Josh Johns, and our weekend meteorologist Chris Ramirez, they're melting crayons at the station and making art. Since it is 100 degrees currently at the station, you can check out the progress of their Crayola melting art. Janicki with his shot there, and
David, have you ever heard about baking cookies in your car?
yeah, I was hoping that maybe Josh or Chris or someone would either bake some cookies on their dashboard or maybe fry an egg on the sidewalk this afternoon.
You know, I've heard about it, and being out here, I can tell you that my money's on it working.
Well, I'll take mine over easy, okay? So.
Sounds good. I think I may try and smoke a rack of ribs or something in mine.
I think I hear our Erin Bailey making her way up.
Uh-oh, that means we're in trouble now, David.
Mm-hmm. She'll join our coverage here in just a moment. Need to find out if she knows either of these Bailey kids that are up here on the green right now.
You know, I'm really curious. And this group of Janicki and Farr, they're actually leading the President's Flight as of yesterday. They finished up 6 under. They had a great round of 66.
Great day for them.
Absolutely. And it looks like Bailey and Bailey also had a great round yesterday. Under for a 68. Both of them in the President's Flight.
Well, if we get Erin on the microphone, maybe we can get her an opportunity to talk to them before they get too far off the green.
Looks like Farr's getting his ball marked here and back down. I'm going to try and clean this up as they make the turn, move on.
So Janicki and Farr and the Baileys finishing up there. Obviously a great round yesterday. Erin Bailey making her way over there. I don't know if she's going to have the opportunity to catch them and see if we can talk to them a little bit about how they're starting their day off. And
hey guys, let's see if they'll stop for me.
There they are.
All right.
So
you guys are doing pretty well. Yesterday, are you Jake or Troy? Troy, you guys were in -6 yesterday. -4 under yesterday for those guys. How are you doing so far today?
We're doing all right. We're even, just kind of getting it around the hole, but nothing's really falling, so just try to make a few on the front nine and see what we do.
You have a whole cheering squad with you. So how is it having this support over the home competition?
It's a lot of fun. It makes it a lot more fun when they come out, so it's cool.
All right, well, good luck to you on the rest of the competition. Let's see how you do. Everyone, let's cheer. Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. We got a lot of fans over here.
We got high fives,
high
low
five,
fives.
low fives. We're doing everything.
Man.
Oh, pound it.
And the fist bump. The
There you
fist
go.
bump there to finish it up. Aaron, I'm going to have to say I'm kind of disappointed right now. We had Bailey and Bailey.
You guys,
go
I'm
right by Aaron
literally-
Bailey. And I never got to hear if there's a relation there.
Those are my uncles.
we were trying to find out if you were related to him at all. So
For those of you guys watching at home, I will have you know I was just on KLST for Concho Valley Live.
yeah,
So
we told him how did Kevin perform today? Did his fingers, was he too hot? Was he okay on the guitar? Or?
oh my gosh, he shocked me for sure. Tennis pro and guitar pro, who knew?
Oh yeah, he's a rock star before he's a tennis pro. He'll claim that every day. So
It was awesome. And he agreed to come on the show once his band gets their CD ready. So you guys are not going to want to miss that episode.
I know. They, of course, won the Blues Festival just a few months ago downtown,
did?
Boogie Town. They'll be playing out here this evening at the end of today's round for the evening festivities. You know, when I say evening festivities, it's the evening of adult beverages. That's what it usually ends up being.
Speaking of that, I guess we can go ahead and thank AB Distributing for helping us put this on, of course, as well as everyone else. I always try and get to everybody, and I'm sure that I do miss some people. So, David, please slap me around if I do.
Now, this is Ricky Kelly here in our coverage, and actually Ricky and his partner today are not in the tournament. I'm trying to think of his partner's name. I can't think of his first name right off, but they're not actually in the tournament. And this is what happens because you get so many people in a certain flight, and who they're playing with, Zach Drennan and John Lummis, they're in the tournament, and so Zach and John will be, their score will count, but Ricky, they asked Ricky and Mr. McMillan just to play along with them to make a foursome so that it kind of keeps the speed of play the right way so that Zach and John won't be right up on the group behind them, so it kind of slows play down. And Ricky, he's played in the partnership tournament a number of times and done really well, but also, as he explained to me the other day, he said, I can't really take off that many days of work. I can get Friday off, and then Saturday, of course, I'm off, not a big deal, but those 2 days back to back, I can't miss work that much. So,
Well, David, I'm kind of hurt that they didn't ask me to go down and fill in, which I'm always willing to do, but
in flight 554 or what?
It doesn't matter that these guys are in the championship flight, okay? Fake it till you make it is what I've always heard.
I think you could have done it, Cody. I have faith in you.
See, there we go. Aaron is
Aaron's always
cheering
saying
for
that
me down
because
here.
you produce her show every day. That's why.
You got to stay on his good side, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and speaking of Drennan and Lummis here coming up, as we said, they were in the championship flight, and they finished up yesterday at 1 under. So we'll see what they can do today. Coming up on 18, they're going to make that turn. They still have half the round left to go. They got a lot of golf to play still.
Yeah. Zach and John have played in this tournament a number of. That's Mr. McMillan and Mr. Kelly making their way on. Of course, we're not counting their scores. We won't call them dummy golfers because we wouldn't want to say that. Well, maybe we will. We'll call them.
We can
I know
go with
Ricky
that
well
at the
enough. I'll call him. Ricky, of course, works for one of our local adult beverage distributors. So I have not begged him for signage for my man cave area too much.
I think there's an acceptable amount, right?
I'm like, hey, what are you doing with that sign? Could I have that? Ricky really has their distributorship really helped out at the rodeo this year. They, of course, deal with Pendleton, who takes care of the Pendleton whiskey room out at the rodeo. And of course, he helped out with a lot. One of the winery areas in the wine tent, the new wine tent that Kevin and his rodeo committee are in charge of. If you didn't get an opportunity to go out and check out the wine tent at the rodeo last year, it's an inaugural event year for it, and bringing it back again, making it bigger and better next year from what Kevin is talking about. It won't be quite this hot at the rodeo, I guaranteed.
No, I think that's definitely something we can look forward to there.
We might complain about the cold a little bit when during the rodeo.
That's a real good looking shot right there. It came up a little short, but you'd much rather have that than across the green and into the bunker on the other side.
You guys, I was just talking with Brett, the golf pro here for my show, and he said that's going to be one of the big things these golfers need to look for, is that it's so hot and that these greens are just going to carry the ball much faster than they're used to.
So Kelly now again, not really no bearing on this because they're not in the tournament, but it's always nice to see someone make a nice putt like that, even though they're not in the tournament.
Absolutely. A little less stress for them.
So, John Lummis now. Trying to read his putt. Let Mr. Drennan help him out a little bit. Take a gander at it, tell him what he thinks.
You know, and even though this ball is on the opposite side of the green, they're going to have a different look at it. There still is information to be learned.
Oh, yeah.
Watching those putts, you know, you're going to get an idea of the speed. You can see how much break it had on that side and get a pretty good estimate of the break coming on your side. So it's always good to watch what the other players are doing and try and learn everything you can to put yourself in the best position to make your putt.
So apparently, I got a text here. Josh Johns did bake cookies in his car yesterday. So I hope no one got food poisoning at the station if anybody had the cookies that Josh Johns made. But
it has been successful. Not a bad speed there. Looks like he just left himself a foot or so. Go ahead and clean that up. Now he's got an attempt at it from the other side. Not a bad roll there again. Pretty close as he taps that one in. Just missing that one.
So our next group, they're back out, well, not in the fairway, to the left and the right.
You know, I don't really know how to say it anymore other than it's, unfortunately, it's what we've come to expect. You know, we look up as that next group's coming down and you look down the fairway and you just don't see anybody.
Yeah. We got Logan Philly, Will Henderson, Blaine Street, and Hunter Fincher.
Now take a look at this. He actually has his club
Yeah, he's
upside down.
Yeah, he's playing left-handed with the right-handed club, trying to figure that out. So
I tell you what,
because
it's
right up
not
against that fence line.
Right, and for those of you out there that don't know, he's obviously not just doing this to have fun with it, as Kevin was saying.
And you can see this Buddy the dog that's dropping the tennis ball back over the fence. He's wanting to play fetch with him. That's not distracting at all.
No, not at all. It's not like he's got a difficult shot ahead of him already.
I want to say that we were talking about that yard yesterday. I think that's Michael and Emily Brindley's house. Michael, come get control of your dog, please.
Yeah, and as we were talking earlier, they have to play the ball as it lies, even if it's up against
the
fence like that.
He did get it out.
And, you know, for a right-handed golfer,
hitting it left-handed, that's not bad. Upside down, because it's blade upside down. So
yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Definitely be okay with the out that he just had. On the opposite side of the fairway over here, he looks like he caught that ball a little thin and bladed it a little bit. Ended up, looks like it took a bounce off that fence, kind of kicked out and ended up behind the hill over there on that side, and that's definitely going to leave them with a difficult shot coming back in.
These two teams scrambling a little bit right now.
Well, it does look like we have one ball out here.
I think that's Hunter Fincher.
In the fairway. As we were saying before, the hill out there that he's on, looks like he's just shy of the hill. So he's probably got about 180, 185 to the pin. If that stays up, that has a chance.
He's watching it, and he got a good roll and a good kick, and look at this shot. Well played, sir.
What an excellent shot there. That's going to leave him a very straight uphill putt. Not much left. Looks like he might have 5 or 6 feet coming in. That's a very makeable birdie putt. And, you know, I'm rooting for him because that would be number 3.
Yeah, well, after all the days yesterday of not seeing anybody really with an opportunity. This is Will Henderson now. Trying to just come under those trees and get up and over. And look at that, stuck it right on the green. Let's see if it trickles on down. It's trying. Don't know if it's going to get all the way down. Still rolling, though. So going to give himself a good opportunity as well as it catches the fringe and stops right there.
I tell you what, I was lucky enough to get to play a round of golf with Will, and he's just a monster off the tee. You know, nothing can make you feel worse than you get up here. It actually happened to me, and I get out, and you know, I made the mistake of asking, you know, hey Will, are you going with a 6 here? And he responded with, that was my wedge. So it kind of tells you the power he's got behind his shot. But what a great golfer. You know, it was a great time we had playing around. And there's also something interesting that he said about the layout at Bentwood out here, and which is why I think it's great for a lot of players, is there are trees, but it's a pretty open course.
Yeah.
And it allows you the chance to kind of just go at a lot of shots.
So there's a little punch now from Logan Philly. And then Blaine Street, after hitting his club upside down, left-handed, punch his out from the other side over here. And it's almost like Logan and Blaine are scrambling, and Will and Hunter seem to have found what they need. So it is partner golf.
looks like Logan and Will finished up yesterday at 2 under. So a score of 70 in the first round. We'll see, maybe Aaron can catch them on that side and ask them how they're doing today, what they're expecting to finish up with.
Well, I know we're going to finish the day with another record-breaking temperature, as we just hit 108 again at 412, which breaks our old record at 107 degrees back in 1925.
Wow.
So, yeah, that record was a long time ago.
Yesterday was also 108, was it not?
Was a record set yesterday as well, so that's two
days.
Record-breaking days for heat.
108 degrees. I probably didn't remember yesterday because of my heat stroke that I suffered.
2 days, guys, and I'm sick of it.
Come on, Aaron, you're from Houston. You're used to this, right? You just need some humidity. You'd feel right at home.
Exactly. I love just being sweaty all day.
Oh, what a great putt.
What a great putt right there by Will Henderson.
Now, that was a birdie, correct?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That makes number 3 for the tournament.
And then this is Hunter Fincher, which this is his birdie opportunity as well. Could we see 2 at the same time? Oh, he just missed it. Left it on the left side.
Close. I'm going to have to go with you jinxing him there, David.
Why? Just because I said we could have 2 at the same time?
I believe that's it. Because, well, you know, I owned it earlier when I said that we could have 2 at the same time. And it didn't happen. But nevertheless, looks like Erin's over there with Will Henderson. Let's check in with her and see how they're looking to finish out their day.
That's right, guys. I'm over here with Will, and Will, you just had a birdie, which is the 3rd one of the day on this hole, and yesterday you guys finished under 2, so how's today going for you?
It's going pretty good. We're getting lucky and making some putts. That's about it.
How are you going to take the rest of these holes?
Try and make pars. That's about it.
That's the best you can ask for. All right, you guys have fun. Good luck.
Yeah, that's a good attitude to have there, Will. Just do your best and you know, aim for par. Don't aim for birdies, you know. Just
absolutely. And you know, we said it earlier, pars can win tournaments, you know, and sometimes bogeys can win tournaments. So you're exactly right. That attitude of shooting for pars is a great one to have.
Just keep your expectations low. That's what I would say. That way you can exceed them.
Never disappointed that way.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, so next up we've got Corey Adams, Jim White, Jason Ball, and Jack Graves. That's Jason Ball and Jack Graves there in the green and the yellow shirts respectively.
Well, it looks like Ball and Graves had a nice score they put up yesterday. They are in the championship flight, of course, and they finished up at 4 under for a 68, which is a great score. We actually only saw a few scores better than that, at a few 5s and a few 6s, so 4 is very respectable.
And we are almost finished with our guys who teed off on 11 this afternoon. They've got this group and one more, and then we'll move to our finishing round guys, the guys that teed off on 1 this afternoon and are finishing up here on 18 today.
Looks like the other group out there that we had of Adams and White, they finished up yesterday with 2 under. A score of 70, which again is a good score to put up.
Now the group that's behind these guys, of course, is Blake Parks, Hunter Hendricks, Murray Carson, and Kevin Crane. Carson, of course, leading their flight they had a pretty nice day yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. They are the ones leading, like you said. They shot 6 under 66. So to come out first day of the tournament and put a 6 under 66, Carson and Crane are sitting pretty nice right now. And of course, right behind them, Parks and Hendricks, they put up the 5 under 67. So
yeah, they're biting on their heels a little bit.
yeah, a few great golfers coming up in the next group, as well as this group.
It's Adams there. Corey Adams. Don't think he's happy with that shot.
It's a lot of self-control there you got to have.
Yeah, to keep from throwing that club.
To not put that club in the window over there behind that fence.
He can either put it in the window or give it to the neighbor's dog on the other side. Either one.
Yeah,
that's true.
Neighbor's dog might chase it. You know,
you know,
he might chase Graves in that yellow shirt. It looks like the tennis ball that he kept throwing over the fence.
I'm afraid if a ball goes in that backyard, you're not getting it back.
No, it's going to be like the Sandlot. It's the beast over there.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's a new toy there.
Hey, I think I saw something the other day. I think the Sandlot is the throwback movie at one of the movie theaters this weekend. They're going to air it on the big screen. Speaking of that, yeah.
No way.
That's almost a must-do to go watch Sandlot on the big screen.
NVAC, what could be better?
Yeah, I know. Maybe we can get Cody to wear his PT flyers out here. Quick he can run.
See how high he can jump over that fence.
That sounds like a challenge.
I was just hoping Wendy Peppercorn might come out and lifeguard.
Kevin Collins, we need you to get on that. It's not a bad looking shot right there that we just had. He's going to come up just short right of the green, but leave himself a makeable little bump and run. Again, another nice shot there. He didn't really have any options from where he was lying. He had to keep it low and just get through the trees and come out on the other side. And then, of course, you got the cart path there to contend with and hopefully not catch a wicked bounce off of that. So not a bad shot at all from where he was sitting.
Yeah, sometimes you want to catch the wicked bounce.
That's true. It is true.
Jim White making his way across the fairway to his ball. So Jim's still out on the other side. There you go. Trying to decide exactly what he wants to do, because you got to flop that up there. You almost want to flop it up above it and let it roll back to it, but
yeah, exactly. It's like you and Kevin were discussing earlier. You know, they actually are going to play it a lot higher in the green than you'd expect, because they know that that ball is going to release from where it lands, kick out, and then take that break down to the green, all the way down to the hole. So we're probably going to watch him play it 10 to 15 feet up above the hole up here. We'll see where he lands it.
look at this shot. Oh, I thought that was going to go in the hole.
Great touch. He left it just a little shorter than he wanted to. I think if he carried it about another 6 inches to a foot, he would have been really happy with that shot. But again, not a bad shot at all. And he's going to have a makeable putt from that side.
So if you go on the KSAN Facebook page or Josh Johns or Chris Ramirez's Facebook page, our meteorologist, they did make some beautiful crayon art in about 45 minutes today as they melted crayons. They just sent us a picture of it. I think what we should do is probably auction that up on CBHP and take the proceeds and donate it to a local charity. So we'll have to talk about that and see if we can get that done.
Now that Josh Johns is such an artistic fellow.
Well, he baked cookies yesterday. He's making art today.
Jack of all trades. Look at the touch right there. What a great shot.
I need him to fry some eggs up tomorrow, I think. So. Well, he won't be in tomorrow. Chris will have to do that. So.
Yeah, we'll get Chris on that. Have him fry up a carton of eggs out there for us.
I asked Dan to do that for the next A Moment of Science, so we'll see if he listens.
Well, David, as we continue our coverage here, I'd like to again thank all of our staff at KLST and KSAN for helping us put this on. These guys just work endlessly out here in the heat and the weather, and you never hear them complain, and it's such a good time. And I'd also like to thank their wives and kiddos at home, and especially you. You know, you got the newborn at home and the wife at home, of course, and all of our families at home that support us and let us come out here and do this and provide this coverage to all you guys at home. So
I should be thanking y'all and taking y'all out to dinner for letting me be out here and not have to be at home. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm just serious. I did get the overnight though last night.
Did you?
Which was not fun considering we were out here so long yesterday.
You know, 18-hour day into the overnight shift at home.
About 3 o'clock, Wiley was hungry. Let's just say that, and he was ready to eat in the middle of the night. And so Dad had to get up and take care of that. But it was all good.
This putt we're looking at here is going to be an uphill putt. It is a break to it, some right to left. Let's see if he got a read. And he did get a read as he made that putt.
Just kissed his ball for good luck, so we'll see if that helps and if this one rolls in.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. A little good luck kiss never hurts.
I think his bright yellow shirt might bring him some more luck than that, though.
Well, I don't know. David had a bright yellow shirt on yesterday and nearly got hit by a golf ball. So.
True about that.
I guess it depends who's wearing it.
Yeah, I think they were just aiming for me is the problem. So, little fist bump there.
As that group goes off, let's go down to Erin again and see if she can grab one of these guys real quick and see what they're looking forward to on the next 9 that they've got coming up.
You got Jack Graves with her down there.
Guys, I'm down here with Jack right now. They finished under 4 yesterday. He said this hole sucked, so don't hold that against him. It was, it was fine. You made the last one. That good luck kiss worked, but what are you looking forward to on these next ones besides getting inside away from this heat?
Well, we had a good start. It's been pretty easy so far, and we're.
Three-putted for a par on a par 5.
I did 3-putt for a par on par 5, and we're 3 under with 10 to play, 10 holes. So we're right where we need to be.
All right.
See what happens.
Finish strong, guys. Good luck.
All right, well, there you go. You heard him. Right now they're currently 3 under with 10 holes left to play. And Jason, of course, finishing up 4 under total yesterday. So they actually have a really good shot with 10 left to finish up 5 or 6 under and put up a better score than yesterday. So you heard him, they were right on pace.
So we got, looks like that's Kevin Crane there, offensive coordinator for the Central Bobcats and avid golfer. Coach Crane is a really good golfer. And congratulations to Coach Crane. Him and his wife just had a little boy as well. So congratulations to the Cranes and their new addition to their family. Coach Crane and Murray Carson have been playing together for a number of years in this tournament. Kevin not happy with that shot at all as he kind of tried to peek at it. And
I'm wondering if he just lost his balance a little bit when he came through there.
Almost looked like his foot slipped out from under him or something.
Did.
I don't know if he's wearing true spikes. You know, a lot of these guys have gone to the more tennis shoe type, and they're not true spikes. They're just almost knobby shoes, if you want to say that, on the bottom. And sometimes you get in certain grass, and without those spikes, you just don't get the good footing you want. A good shot there from Parks and Hendricks. Just short off the green.
Of course, as we said before, this is Carson and Crane. They finished 6 under yesterday, and then Parks and Hendricks finished 5 under yesterday. So this is your championship flyers right here in this group. Both of these teams. Of course, we'll have to see what scores were put up today as these guys finish their rounds, but as of yesterday, that is where they stood.
Yeah, and it's funny in a 3-day tournament how many times the leads can change just depending on, you know, how teams play throughout their rounds. I think Murray seemed to be happy with that, with the little flip of the club, but it ended up in that front side bunker. So Crane and Carson scrambling a little bit here.
Yeah, I think that might have ended up being the flip of acceptance, with it's not going where I want it to, but we're going to take it and move forward. Looks like they got some friends and family out here following them around. It's always nice to have that cheering squad behind you.
Yeah, good support. So Coach Crane now with his 3rd shot. Not real happy with his 2nd at all. Left himself a lot of work. And that's up above the hole. Not a place you want to be with that pin placement today.
No, it is. He's going to have a bit of a difficult putt coming back. It is going to have some break in it, and it's definitely going to be a speed putt. Like you said, he's past it. So
going down that hill, I mean, he just kind of touched it and then ran down the hill pretty
and
quick.
It's gone. You know, it's almost like you bring that putter back and it just scares that ball and it takes off and does not want to stay on the green at all. It's funny how it's played out today is all these teams come up on 18, and it seems like we typically always end up with having this whole kind of surrounded.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have a couple guys on
Below
each
it,
side, and
above
below
it,
and above
side of it. So they're trying to see where Coach Crane's ball ended up here. They're asking the other guys a ruling on, I don't know if there's a ball mark right there or. Trying to figure out if he should just play it or. Had Blake Parks come over and look at it. And I guess they decided what they were going to go with. Murray Carson now out of the sand, that front bunker. This will be his third shot. Look at that. He just didn't get it to get down the ridge. He's almost coming over playing partner golf.
Well, you know, I think he just wanted to get over there and
give Kevin
his partner a read on his. He's definitely going to have the opportunity to do that.
Blake Parks talking to his partner now about the ridge and how it breaks down from there. Like I said, the next group that'll be coming behind these guys will be the guys that teed off on 1, so they're finishing up their day. As these guys still have 10 to play. Be through their first 18 holes, or first 8 holes really. So still have 11 to play.
That's a good example right there again of how hard it is to control the speed on these greens. You know, he gave it a good run, but as fast as it was, it just took all of the break out of it, and it just continued all the way to the opposite side and left him on the right on the fringe down there.
Looks like Murray's going to give his partner Kevin Crane a read here and go ahead and put his out in front of it.
Looks to me, David, like he's aiming way above the hole up here, so he might be going to give it a nice tap and just try and let it drop all the way down and in.
And look at that thing bend. Still rolling. Still rolling. Not going to give him the complete opportunity there. I'm not going to refer to Kevin's phraseology of chicken on the bone.
Partner here now got a really good look at what this ball should do, and he's telling him right now, hey, you know, put it here.
I think Murray's telling him, I played it out this far, and you saw what happened with mine, so. They're really trying to read it because obviously this is important for them because you need a par, or I mean, you don't want to get a double bogey or
right.
When you're leading coming into the second day, you want to keep that lead.
Well, and I mean, you heard Jack a minute ago talking to Aaron, you know, he 3-putt. Luckily, it was on a par 5, so he still got a par out of it. But, you know, these greens are very easy to putt on.
Most of these guys finished up the day early. They weren't playing at this time yesterday, so it changes up a little bit. And
the ball takes that bend down, heads towards the hole.
so he's just trying to see if he had enough speed to get it back down there to it. And
it looks like he left that ball pretty much exactly where his partner did.
Yeah.
I think it might have actually landed on his mark.
Coach Crane not happy with that at all. Now, Hunter Hendricks.
You know, that's a tough putt. We've seen that quite a few times today, and it's coming off the fringe right at the front of the green. You just never know. You know, it kind of falls down onto the green, and sometimes they can kick it left and right.
And you know, it just goes to show you how really hard 18 is playing today, especially because these are the guys that were leading the championship flight yesterday.
Right.
And so, number 1 and number 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, on paper,
and they're struggling.
You're watching
on this.
the best golfers in the tournament right now, you know, and you can see what this hole is doing to them. Close there.
Blake Parks just missing that one. So. Murray Carson looking over his putt now. See what he's going to have to do. Breathe on it and let it roll down the hill.
I mean, wait for the wind to blow a little bit.
It'll make its way down there pretty quickly, Murray. So we're just saying. We have seen it happen.
Put a parachute on that thing because you do not want it blowing past the hole.
Murray with a good firm putt finishing out there.
Oh, just lips out.
It's got to be frustrating.
You know, it really is. It's like we were talking about earlier. You know, sometimes you'd rather just miss it completely rather than catching a lip like that because you never know how far it's going to go.
Kevin Crane now to finish out his play. Murray saying, this is about where I played it, so...
Let's see if maybe Aaron can catch one of these groups over here, and when they exit this green, find out if they have any sort of game plan moving into the next days now that they know that, you know, they were leading that first day. They're still looking at one last putt here before they exit. Looks like that one's just off the edge, but you can see how it just continues to roll all the way down.
Coach Crane, being the perfectionist he is for the offense for the Central Bobcats, I know that's frustrating for him. Just a frustrating hole all the way around for Kevin.
Frustrating hole, but you know what? They're going to get to speak with Aaron Bailey down there. That's got to cheer him up a little bit, right?
Yeah. So.
All right, David and Cody, we are with Coach Crane down here. You guys are leading the way after yesterday's round, so what's your game plan for the rest of this?
Just one shot at a time and have some fun.
All right, we're going to let you get on with it and enjoy the rest of your holes.
Thank you.
That's a very PC answer considering the hole he just played. He's trying to finger, I'm sure, a little bit. So.
Yeah, I think his answer, you know, deep down inside was, well, I don't really care because right now I want to throw my club across the street. So why don't you ask me here in about an hour?
Yeah, Murray said no, not a good time. So that's how that hole went for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of players end up driving off of 18 feeling that exact same way.
Let's just say that's some great composure by Coach Crane to have an answer like he's done a few TV interviews. Let's say that, and that's just pretty impressive. Well, I don't know who is down there, what golf cart it is, but you can't see it off our cameras. But they either have their windshield just at the right. We're getting a nice glare of sun.
I'm actually going to try and avoid looking into the fairway because I can't see anything.
My retinas are being burned, I think. I have this big dot now when I look down. It's like staring into the sun. This by far is the best goatee we've seen.
I was about to say, if you know, we need to enter this man into the facial hair contest. Good looking shot right there. If that one's going to hold on, and it does. If it'll stick, and that may end up rolling down.
Oh, it's going to come back down. It's rolling.
And it is.
Yeah,
it's going to end up.
Still helping. Still helping.
And look at that. Watch how much that ball
Just
ends up
trickling
moving.
down, and the wind, you know, has picked up a little bit too. So it's finally coming to a stop, but that's not a great position. I'm sure he wished it would have rolled a little bit more, but
yeah, you know, and that's one of the frustrating things, like we said, is, you know, he put that close, but that position still could have gave him a little work left.
So you got Tom DeLauder, Cody Allison, Drew Springer, and Chase Hensley now. These guys are finishing up for their day. It's Mr. Allison in his maroon shirt there, over here by the tree. I'm wondering if that's his drive, because that's a heck of a drive if it's all the way up there.
You know, I'm not sure. I didn't see.
They had a second shot in there while we were watching Crane and them?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was too busy being entertained by Coach Crane's PC answer. I don't know if that's his second or third. Excuse me, first or second. I'm not sure. Well, he definitely got the height on this one, and he just carried it too far.
Just too much club. Put him in this back sand trap.
Yep. And like you said, that breeze just picked up right now, so I'm wondering if he maybe didn't take that into account and just had too much club there. But it's definitely a breeze that is with him.
Mr. Allison walking on up here into the trees on our right side, the left side of the fairway, and I'm gonna have to say this is probably a second or third shot. He's just picking that up. I don't know if it's his partner has a good enough shot that he's gonna just put it in his pocket, call this hole good.
You know, it's 18 on a hot day.
Finishing up.
I think that may be what it is. He might have just said, I'll see you in the 19th hole.
Yeah.
Go ahead
And
and finish it up for me,
I
Parker.
love their 57 Chevy golf cart. That is classic right there. So may have to see if we can get Aaron Bailey to talk about their golf cart. That's pretty impressive.
Where do you get one of those? I wonder if that's custom made.
Mm-hmm.
Get the details, gentlemen. We'll figure this out. We'll get to the bottom of it.
I'm pretty sure that's Tom DeLauder's cart, man with the goatee right there. So
I'd also like you to ask him what kind of product he uses to keep that goatee that phenomenal.
That is a great gray goat.
Especially in this West Texas wind. It's not even moving.
You know, I will admit that if I did grow out my goatee, it would be that gray. I have so much gray in my facial hair. It's not because my staff makes me have gray hairs. I won't say that. So, Aaron Bailey. Oh, no.
I just missed your jokes. I don't know what was said.
Ah, well played, Aaron Bailey. Well played. Mr. DeLauder and Mr. Allison talking about their play. Chase Hensley back here in the back sand trap, and his partner Drew Springer in the front sand trap. So
they got the beaches covered.
Mm-hmm.
Hensley just told me he would be doing a lot better if he used the right club for that hit. So
yeah, he realized. I think he realized it after he hit it that he had used too much club there. So coming out of this back sand trap now for him. Oh, that's a really good out if that turns like it might. And did, just wrapped around it. And then, of course, rolled all the way down off the green. But
yeah, you know, it was such a nice touch, though. It ended up just being a few inches too far to carry it. You know, if he landed it just a little shorter, it could have turned out really nice for him. But, you know, he's got an uphill putt coming back, and that putt's pretty straight. So
yeah, really would have had an opportunity maybe to hit the stick and go in. Drew Springer from off the edge.
That was a nice touch right there. I tell you what, those putts get pretty difficult, especially when you're that far off. You know, he opted to putt rather than chip.
Yeah, I use my Texas wedge, which is my putter, sometimes. It's just the way it is. Sometimes I'm better just trying to putt it as opposed to trying to have enough. Because I don't use that P word that Kevin talks about all the time, the practice thing. If I would go over there to the chipping green and actually practice.
You know, I don't really
Oh,
buy
that was
into
very
that
nicely
philosophy.
done by Mr. Hensley. Drop that in the hole there.
You know, practicing. That's a classic tennis player answer.
I mean, yeah.
All right, I know you guys were talking about that solid goatee, but have you seen Springer's mullet?
I know.
I haven't, actually.
He does have a wonderful mullet there
Yeah, take a look at that, because that is quality.
under the visor.
And a solid mustache, too. He's got the whole look going on.
Ah.
Oh, and I mean, you know, again, we were talking about the visors earlier. bring them back.
I can't wear the
Not
visor anymore just because that bald spot right on the back of the top of my head. So yeah, it becomes an issue there because then I get a little bit of that, what do they call it? Skin cancer? Something.
At least you're accepting it, so that's good.
That's right. And just short there, and that shows you, how difficult even the shortest putts can be. He didn't quite get it there, and I believe he left himself longer than he had before he putted it. Gonna get a look at it from this angle now.
Tom DeLauder.
It looked like he had maybe 4 feet coming back. Maybe not that far.
And drops it in the hole.
Nice putt.
We'll see if we can, they finish up their day, so maybe we can get Aaron to find out exactly where he purchased this golf cart. It's a fabulous golf cart over there. It's like a 57 Chevy golf cart.
I thought we were here to talk about golf.
We're going to talk about it all, but we'll talk about first. Tell us, you're done with round 2. How did it end up?
Same as yesterday, 76.
76, all right. And now, talk to us about your little baby right here. How'd you customize this?
I bought it this way.
You didn't design this yourself?
Nope, it was already done. I found it. Was lucky enough to get the chance to buy it.
Aaron,
now it's yours.
You got to tell them it's probably the best looking golf cart we've seen.
David and Cody think it's the best looking golf cart they have seen. So, if you don't come out on top, at least you have the #1 golf cart on the course.
Is there a prize for that?
We could work something out, Tom.
They said they might work something out for you.
At least we'll buy you a drink, maybe.
They'll stay up there. They said they'll buy you a drink. So, have a good night, guys.
All right. Well, before we finish up this next group coming up 18 here, we're going to take a quick break. So we will be back with you momentarily.
At Concho Bell Bonds, we have an honest, friendly, and professional staff with over 40 years of experience. We understand that if you or a loved one needs our help, you want fast and efficient service that you can trust. That's why at Concho Bell Bonds, we are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, with easy payment plans, and we accept all major credit cards. Y habla español. At Concho Bell Bonds, it is better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us.
We know Texas weather is different from the rest. That's why you should trust the KSAN-Concho Valley Storm Team.
We were born and raised in the great state of Texas.
And that makes us better prepared to keep you ahead of the storm.
Whether it's winter weather, severe storms, or extreme heat.
We know that because we've lived this weather.
Trust the KSAN-Concho Valley Storm Team to keep you ahead of the storm every day.
My father passed his truck down to me. That's the same thing I want to do with you.
It's an emotional thing to watch a child grow up, and especially get behind the wheel.
I want to keep, stacking up the memories and the miles and the years.
He's going to get mine, but I'm going to get a new one.
When it's time for your old Chevy truck to become their new Chevy truck, there's Truck Month. Get 18% of MSRP cash back on all Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT Texas Edition pickups. That's $9,000 on this Silverado. Plus, during Truck Month, make no monthly payments for 90 days.
San Angelo now under a very real threat. Severe thunderstorm warning coming in from the north side.
And we are also looking for the potential of hail coming from this storm as well, waiting for confirmation either.
We're getting reports of quarter-sized hail and wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour.
Right, thanks. 80 mile an hour, quarter-sized hail. All right, guys, we got to cut in immediately. Thanks. Good evening, Concho Valley. Thanks for staying with us. Breaking news, a severe thunderstorm warning has been...
I'm Tommy Clark, General Manager of Ameripride Services. As a native of San Angelo, I appreciate the sense of family that exists here. Ameripride considers our customers our family. Thank you for choosing Ameripride Services for your uniform and linen needs.
Remain informed on breaking news with the updated Concho Valley homepage app. Now containing severe weather alerts, push notifications, extended weather forecasts, and more. Download the Concho Valley homepage mobile app today. Available on iPhone, iPad, and Android.
Cake's here. Oh.
You know, it doesn't make sense. What we're paying for just satellite TV, I think we could be getting TV and internet from Suddenlink for less.
It's just not right.
Switch to Suddenlink and get TV and internet for less. It just makes sense. Call 877-733-1324.
It's hard work and sacrifice and never even thinking twice, and it's waving at people you don't know. Cause that's how we're born and how we're raised. The Concho Valley is our place. It's cheering for the blue and the gold. Local is your neighbors, local is your friends, local is a place you've always been. Then I love the way KSAN's local every day.
Welcome to Dreamscapes, the Concho Valley's premier outdoor living design center. Choose from a variety of outdoor fire pits, pergolas, and other outdoor accessories to help complement your outdoor style. We sit down with you to help design your dream outdoor living space. We offer a wide variety of grills to choose from, including pellet grills, gas, charcoal, and ceramic, along with all the extra amenities to complement that new grill. Visit us today so we can get started on bringing your outdoor living space to reality. Right here at Dreamscapes, located at 3602 South Chadwick.
There's the storm. There's the warning. It covers Paint Rock. It covers areas north of Eden.
Exactly on the 1-year anniversary. I don't know what the odds are on that. We'll do the calculations later. Power going out again. I don't even know what count that is. Maybe 12 or 13. Now 14. 14. Okay.